Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Welcome to the party.
And Simon.
Greetings and salutations.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Kamar, new patrons? I think there had to be some.
You know there is, Matty. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Our Patreon is growing, so now we're down to 2,965. Let's go.
Let's go.
Road to
Let's
3,000. Dr. Shrimp, Puerto Rico, MD.
Thank
Just
you,
became a member.
Dr. Shrimp.
Shrimp, Puerto Rico.
Thank you so much.
And Jesse Harden, this is huge. Thank you very much. Raised his membership up to $7.50. Did you get a raise there, bud? Fucking Joe. Thank you.
He can do whatever he wants
Yeah.
now. So fuck.
Free man.
We got divorced.
Let's do it. Whoa, hey.
Yeah, he did. Celebrate
Sorry.
good times. Come on, we know this.
Was that a secret?
Because he got. We never have discussed this with you. This is going to break his heart.
I don't think you should
He got
talk about
divorced because of the Patreon.
Oh, that's fun.
She was like, "Get rid of the Patreon, or this family's got to be torn apart." And he was like, "Those are my boys." Conviction.
He's like, I finna get me an apartment.
Thank you to all the Patreons, past, future, and present. Join because you can listen to the post show where we really go into other stuff.
What a sales pitch.
Joey
This
Jason.
guy's a
That's-
fucking...
Joey
That's
Jason.
amazing.
Well, it's a story of
Can
people growing.
I know we don't
learning.
usually talk about our weeks, but something happened to me last night that I think is worth discussion.
All right, let's hear it.
So I'm just minding my own business. Oh, so yeah, last night I kind of had like an epiphany, or you know, one of those moments that like you're just nothing is the same after. Anyways, so I'm outside on my back porch and minding my own business.
And those titties are out again.
No.
Oh.
Keeping my eyes open.
Yeah.
Just whatever, looking up at the stars. And I'm looking at these two stars and it starts moving forward. And then the one behind it starts moving forward behind it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Because even if it's satellites, the fact that there's two satellites so close together that I can actually see. Anyways, so I go inside and I get Halima, my wife, because I want to, what an asshole. I want to at least have somebody there of rational thought. You know what I mean? In case
witness.
this really is something that's going on. So she comes out and she's looking and I'm pointing at all these stars that are moving. And she's like,
All these stars that are moving.
a bunch of stars that are moving. And she's like, yeah, they're moving. This is crazy. And we both take our cameras out and we start recording. And there are so many fucking whatever they are's, you know what I mean? And they're all just pushing their way across the sky. And I, at one point, even said, like it's every star in the sky. And then I went, whoa, it's every star in the sky. It turns out that there was like a really low cloud cover that was pushing through. Mm-hmm. And I guess the illusion of it, you know what I mean, made it look. But at one point, I swear to God, Matt, like I'm not being superfluous here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or facetious or whatever the fuck the word is.
Listen to this fucking...
I thought it was like invasion of.
You thought this
I thought
was
this
it.
was the time.
Simon was watching.
Like it was happening.
I
and
had kept my
was
eyes
filming.
open long enough.
Dude, it was so crazy. And then to be so
Disappointed
stupid and
in a
wrong.
meteorological event.
It wasn't even a meteorological. It was nothing.
So it was clouds. That's a
Yeah.
meteorological
Okay.
event.
Yeah. No, but it wasn't like asteroids or anything.
Yeah.
These things weren't moving. They were perfectly still. And this thing was moving, but it was causing this illusion of an armada of stars all coming for. Anyways. So I had that moment of
Wonder.
clarity.
You gave us the guests.
No, I just also want to say happy Thanksgiving to all the Patreons, to everyone just listen for free. All the best to you as
Hold on,
well.
it's only Thanksgiving for 40 million people.
That's right. Well, our Canadian
Did you
contingent.
say 40 million?
It's easy to let the stuff slip by, but Thanksgiving is.
That's how many people are in Canada? 40 million?
It's probably less. Yeah, we also dropped this after Thanksgiving, so it's a bit. We should have said this
in retrograde. Happy Thanksgiving.
retrograde.
Yeah, we had a great week. We started off with 2210. Kaylee Means and Casey Means, both doctors. 2211, Michael Schellenberger is back in the house. And then 2212, Jelly Roll in the house.
A lot of people in the house.
Did I just learn how to say numbers?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can rate it.
I will. I'll go out there and just say it's a 2.5, 2. Actually, 2.
It's fucking so unprofessional.
Unbelievable.
I'll give it a 1.5.
Wow.
Not impressed.
Wow. Are you guys doing that because Jelly Roll really brings it down, or just because you hated the week?
Well, because I
Because
had
like 2 out of 3 of them feel important,
I
right?
was listening to this one with my uncle, and he got offended.
Which one?
Kaylee and Casey Means.
Why was he offended?
Well, we can get into it. It's something she referred to, and then I stopped it, and we had a discussion. And
Okay, well, here, I'll quickly give the
he
week a
was
3.
not as offended, but still.
Okay, well, fire it up and we'll get into it. I give it a 3.
Okay,
The
right
week.
on. 1, 2, 3. Is that what you just did there?
Something like that, yeah. We don't need the number. It's fine. You said the number already. I'm going to guess 2168.
Casey Kaylee Means. First, there's a problem with this is a brother sister, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Not a couple.
Oh, I never thought of that.
This is annoying if you name your kids Casey and Kaylee, but it's almost like dog names. Anyways, they're doctors, but I guess he felt there was a lot of, and he had no problem with it, but they're obviously Christian doctors. Mm-hmm. And so I was wondering if you wondered if that meant any dreamy boom boom for you. Like you could separate that they were talking about getting back to God and stuff when they were talking about.
Are you asking if I would let them be my physician because they're
No, I don't think
religious?
it would make a difference though, but the credibility of what they're saying.
No, I think it has nothing to do. Like,
I think that's what bugged him the wrong way.
I look at it like this. Like, I think what they're saying is that it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you sit on. Like, right off the rip, he was talking about how he's like, I grew up conservative, and the conservative talking
They're
point-
conservative. They're still.
No, and I get that, but his point was that growing up conservative, you were taught just listen to pharmaceutical companies and big business and whatever.
Well, that shift is happening now.
No, but it just plays into the fact that, like, I don't care what side of the aisle you on, they're lying to you. Right? So, like, whether you're conservative or liberal or whatever, your people are lying to you to get more power, more whatever they need, more fucking money.
They would veer though into World War III and wars. Do you know what I mean? For the lane they were in, they were clearly, my people.
How so?
Well, they love Trump. I mean,
Well, they're conservative, so of course they love Trump.
so they used to push opioids and bad food. And all I could think about was, and I think we'll do it, we've learned this before, but thank you for smoking.
About the movie?
Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, of course.
About
Yeah,
the
yeah.
merchants of death?
Yeah.
Well, they're coming out the other side and atoning for their sins or something because they used to be pushing the opioids.
Opioids. What's wrong with you? Oh, it's the fucking Zins.
The opioids and the bad food.
Cheeks, it's fine. It's just Simon.
Because that's what they thought they should do. I mean, she's a surgeon. I don't know how that's how she does the opioids. And institution capture. That's the subject for this podcast in particular. But I also think we cannot look at this the same way. We're way healthier than they are. There's some food chemicals that we don't allow. We would
I think
aspire to be like Europe or whatever. They talk about this thing in Italy, whatever standards they have for our food, but we don't have that. But it's another step beyond. Obesity is not as big a problem in Canada as it is in America. Agreed?
Listen, the number one killer in Canada is cancer. The number one killer down there is heart disease. I mean, that should tell you a lot. I still think cancer is mostly caused by terrible diet, but not always.
They feel that it's an actual Kabbalah, if you will, or just
Isn't it cabal?
the cabal is a
He hates Kamala
happenstance
Harris so much.
of industry all vying for money and attention.
Yeah.
But they're giving people bad food, so they're dumb and can't make good decisions. And it's part of the big design.
Isn't Kabbalah that religion Madonna was a part of?
I don't remember.
They wear the red bracelets.
Maybe. Kamar, I think actually a lot of this stuff starts off with good means.
Of course, that's what they're saying. It sounds good. The bills sound good. Well, that's very simple. The Health Act, well, an act that will help health. Let's do it.
Yeah. Is that it? That's all you have for the whole episode? You're done?
No, you guys are just agreeing with everything I'm saying. This is fantastic.
Well, I mean, what do you want from us? Like, I think we have been sold a bad bill of goods, and we've been eating shit for fucking ever.
They've been sold a much worse.
So that
Bill of
Kabbalah
goods.
they're talking about is the Rockefellers, right?
Most likely, yeah.
They're the ones who started that whole food pyramid thing. That's who's responsible.
Government working with corporations to give food that will make the population dumb.
Yeah. Yes.
That's it.
That's exactly the plan.
That's what they're saying. And they also said that
Keep them foggy. Remember I said that last week?
I mean, even then, if you go back and look, like the government bailed out so many food industries that probably shouldn't even be around. Like the dairy, the cheese, like there was times where, you know what I mean? Like if there shouldn't be, if there's only dairy farmers because the U.S. bailed them out and like we don't even
Is that
really,
what happened? I didn't know that.
yeah. Well, like government cheese, like you know that whole story, right?
I thought that was just cheese they were giving to low-income families.
we'll be right back.
No. I'm pretty sure the story is that they had this that's because they had this massive fucking surplus of cheese that they had made. I can't remember the fucking story because I'm half a retard because I've been eating
So
this
they
terrible
just
diet.
put it into the...
I'll find it.
But is cheese bad for you? Like, is dairy bad for you? I thought...
No, but my point is this, is like, if none of us are buying milk because none of us like milk.
But why wouldn't you like milk?
Well, first of all, milk is fucking disgusting.
Milk is disgusting, unless it's frozen in ice cream, and then I can bring it back into my life. But drinking milk on itself, ugh.
Yeah, like a glass of milk, the thought of that is...
And I used to love it.
Really?
Did you love it as a kid, though?
No, I fucking hate
You
it.
don't eat cereal?
I haven't eaten cereal in a long... I used to eat a lot of cereal. That was the one milk area. Like he's saying, ice cream. And
Cookies and milk? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing better than that.
I put cookies and ice cream now. It's even better.
That's psychotic.
They were connecting this whole thing of keeping them public so they can go to nuclear war. So California checks on doctors that give vax exceptions,
Is that Chico?
and that was a good meme.
Say that again?
There's doctors in California that give an exception. Someone, here's a note why you don't need to get vaccinated. And if someone does that, then the state goes, what are you
which
doing?
is crazy.
So there is oversight for things. I mean, they also said that they love Trump and RFK and they think they can fix this all in a year. And also it's a do or die time to have this done. What my uncle took exception to, I think you went up, is when she talked about as a surgeon, you kill your prey, eat your kill. I think that's what she said.
As a surgeon?
just if you think about it, in Canada, as a doctor, you go into this sort of system. In America, you're a cowboy. You're out there, like whatever you do, you get paid every time you do a cataracts procedure. Or do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's way more of a business there.
Yeah.
So, surgeries you don't need or something is not even a thought in Canada. If someone doesn't need a surgery and you do it for them, you're just tying up the system. Whereas in America, it's
Just
another
cost
sale.
yeah, I got you. I mean, neither of them are especially good, but I get what you're saying.
Well, those are the two models, and he is a Canadian doctor. Couldn't even fathom what that idea of is.
Yeah.
Your medicine, your healthcare being a business that you try to excel at.
I think that even the surgeons in Canada, like I think if you're a surgeon, you're just more likely to want to do surgery. You know what I mean? When maybe there are way better approaches to take that aren't being looked into at all. So I mean, there's still problems with both, but I'm agreeing.
It's the same problem then. It's the same problem.
It's the same problem, but it's not for money. It's because that's just what you do. Like if you're not doing that, what are you doing?
So it's like with the homeless. If you fix the homeless, then what are you doing?
Right. Right. Like if everybody's doing stem cells instead of getting surgery, then what are you?
No, that should not. Wow, that's even worse.
And Kamar, I don't mean it. I don't think people are doing it intentionally. I'm just saying, if you're a surgeon, you cut. And if somebody comes to you with a problem, you're going to suggest surgery. That's probably why people get second opinions. You know what I mean? So your next opinion probably isn't going to be from a surgeon. It's going to be from
the root of the idea of what offended my uncle was the idea that someone would do a procedure, something that you don't need, just to make money off you.
Yeah, but we know now that that's just not like. I lived in that world too.
Well, she says that's the parallels of healthcare systems that can't really happen here because you don't get more money the more you get through there, but you keep your job. I don't know. They're both really a messed up situation. I think their healthcare is better, and when you say that, someone say, "Yeah, if you have money," and like, "Yeah, if you have money."
Totally, but
healthcare is healthcare.
But think about that, like. Down there, you have a problem and it gets fixed because you've paid for a service and that service gets done.
Mm-hmm.
The second you don't have to pay for it, then you're like, oh, well, okay, just go wait in that line, you know?
I guess the bottom line is she said for most stuff, the best thing to decrease your chance of that is 7,000 steps. And that's the simplest thing that anyone listening to this or just think about that.
Do you think you take 7,000 steps a day?
I average 7,000 steps a day.
You average 7,000
I do, but it helps that I work in a high pace, dynamic environment with world leaders, hockey players. Like a lot of steps are taken, and
with the who's who of celebrities in any given city.
And
it's funny too because it's easy now. Like you can just go on your phone and set it up to be like. Make sure, like, tell me that I'm hitting 10,000 steps a day.
I think it's 2 hours. I think if you walk for 2 hours, that's about 7,000 steps. I don't know if that's exactly it. And also, they brought up the situation that the birth control was the first time the pharmaceutical got a taste of repeat business with drugs. You guys are clearly looking up.
No, I'm looking up this fucking stupid dairy cave that I was talking about earlier. But I'm.
Oh yeah, no. There's a cheese reserve. I know about all that. I didn't know you. Save that for another podcast. 7,000 steps. Birth control opened the eyes to the pharmaceutical industry that they could now get people hooked on something, for lack of a better term, and generate cash from that. And that leads us to ultra processed food, which is owned by.
Tobacco companies.
Yeah.
I brought this up a couple weeks ago.
To this point here, they changed the name from Imperial Tobacco or Philip Morris to Altria. We lost it. Is everything all right?
Yes, everything is.
Yeah, it's the same. Listen, Monsanto did it. All these companies do that. They all get terrible PR. We know who they are, and then they change their fucking name
to Altria.
Yeah. Or no, they'll become even something like a American Freedom Fund, or you know what I mean? Something you can't.
I was just listening to this. What they changed it. Philip Morris
Altria.
changed it
I got
into
it. Yeah.
Altria.
Yeah.
Like altruistic.
We're
almost there.
Did that just happen?
It happened in. They got fined $250 billion for smoking. That's how that ended up. Over 10 years.
Imagine comfortably paying $250 billion. We got it.
Cost to do a business.
No,
I can't
no.
imagine.
It feels like that ruined someone. But no, I guess we'll have to go in the petty cash.
I can't imagine that at all.
So the tobacco companies that were pushing cigarettes like, I don't care if you've been smoking 10 days, 10 months, you'll feel better if you start smoking, to your face, are now selling ultra processed foods, which I think we do all agree, natural foods taste better. Even if it's, we'll say a natural food is a cooked rotisserie chicken you get at the Loblaws or...
That's a natural food to you. The
Close-
cooked
close-
rotisserie chicken from the Loblaws that comes in plastic.
versus a Lunchable, McDonald's.
Okay, well, yeah, sure. Up against those things, yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here.
Well, I think
That
we're talking more
food-
about you going to a local butcher and just cooking the chicken yourself.
I don't think they're going. I don't think you got to go that far.
Well, she was big on microplastics. And again, you're talking about putting the chicken, a cooked chicken, in microplastics.
Have you ever seen the guy
We wrap
online?
chicken in cellophane. That's
who
weird, eh?
His whole thing is he buys
Yeah, the guy, the
rotisserie
shirt.
chicken-
I've seen it. Yeah, the old
and he
man.
gets him to
Don't scan the
Don't
chicken.
come
Don't
near
scan
my
the
chicken. I don't want it in a bag. I got my own bag. Just scan the shirt. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
A, he loves rotisserie chicken from
Yeah,
Costco,
and
and
he
B, he
doesn't-
absolutely does not want the infrared light anywhere
or
near.
microplastics
Yeah.
because he won't. He puts it in his own container.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
Did you, as kids, want TV dinners?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
If
You
I
have
could
the
convince
natural foods,
and what's so funny,
and it was the worst.
the worst.
And you'd be like, "Oh no, it's great! TV dinners is so much better." And that was somehow why.
Kamar.
My
'Cause you were
stepfather was
allowed
like,
to eat
we
it.
never gave you that shit
You were allowed to eat it in front of the TV. That's why.
because you couldn't eat any other meals.
No,
at the
they
TV.
they weren't called TV dinners. That was the loophole.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, Kamar.
Kamar, I can recite to you the Michelina's song still to this day. Like it's ingrained in my head. And that might have been the worst food of all.
Did you ever buy it yourself?
No, my mom would have like 15 Michelinas, and I remember firing a few up and like,
Thinking that was pasta for
it might be the worst portion of food ever.
What's
like you're like,
Michelina's?
it's like a little thing like this
Stouffer's,
big. It's
lean
fucking
cuisine.
frozen pasta that you throw in the microwave.
Little box.
You like crack the corner, you throw it in.
Oh yeah, Michelina's. I used to like the penne, the spicy
Made it from a
penne.
Mama Michelina's recipe, not a bit of much of this top of quality. Even gotta get it back a money guarantee. Hey, Michelina's. Take her from the freezer, pop into the microwave.
Oh, Jesus.
We're not giving Michelina's a dime.
Oh,
We
that
are
shit was
sponsored
garbage.
this week by Michelina's, a company who I do not believe is still in
Did
No,
you,
I don't think there's still.
circulation.
Did you see Thank You for Smoking?
The movie? I don't know if I did. Who stars in that?
Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, you nailed it. I was gonna say Tom Jane, but it is Aaron Eckhart.
Who's the big looking guy with he's a bald guy. He's hilarious.
The big looking.
The Merchants of Death.
Yo, I know who you're talking about. The guy from
From the weatherman.
Yeah, the weatherman.
The sports guy.
I hate to spoil your little attempt here, but I don't think I've seen it.
I'll guess on my own, Kamar. How about that? Pull it up. I'll do a quick little. No, we're not gonna hit the button until him and I do it, but I'll take a guess.
Yeah, that's all right. I like that a lot.
I'm gonna say that it came out in 2002. I'm gonna say it cost 16 million to make, and it made 85. So 2002, 16, and 85.
For bonus points, what did it rate on Rotten Tomatoes?
Critic score or audience?
Wow. It sucks being the trivia master.
Yeah, it
eh?
does. Yes, it does. Which one do you want? Critic score or audience?
I want it that way.
I'll give you the audience score. I think the audience score is 76%.
Okay, well, the audience score, 86.
Oh, 10% off. Okay.
So that tells you it's a good movie, Simon.
Okay, I said 2002, 1685.
I say 2006, 2076.
2005 it came out. Very close. Budget 10 million, box office 39.3 million.
Fair enough, yeah.
The
that makes
message
sense.
didn't get out there. But that movie is all about the lawyers that argue why their products aren't responsible. And he was tobacco. The other one was alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And the other one was junk food, I think, or something like that. Anyways, great movie. Really rung home to me if these guys are real. What they're talking about. Brainwaves 2% uses 20% of our intake.
Well, what
He's just being
what
smart.
happened
Let him-
at the
let
end
him
there?
go.
Let them cook.
All right, man.
So they're super Christian, super Trumpers. That doesn't bother you at all, Simon?
I mean, are you looking? Sorry, after thinking we were being invaded by aliens last night,
Yeah.
just it takes a lot to fucking move the needle, you know?
After thinking,
Yeah, like that.
Kumar, I just-
that
that time I
moment
thought
to
I was
me-
having a kid.
I'm just curious.
Exactly.
Are we not well past that? Like, are you trying to stir up the pot? Like, when in the last 2 years or year and a half?
Does that bother you? And I
No.
think the same way you'd ask me that question.
Did anybody see Trump on Flagrant?
Of course, I did not.
You didn't.
You didn't.
Of course not.
Did you watch it, Kamar? Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Of course he did.
What did you think?
He'd love it. He loved the guy, man. Whatever. People hate him though. Did it make you hate him?
It didn't make me hate him anymore. I guess I was expecting him to have lost a step, and he didn't feel like he lost.
I don't
a
think
step.
there's any way he ever got shot in the ear.
Thank you.
I don't
Thank you.
believe.
So
ever-
we're in
a bullet
agreement.
has never hit
We're in
that ear.
agreement now that
Or
he
a miracle cosmetic surgery.
he WWE'd
Because
that shit.
What the weird thing about the Flagrant show is the crew has a new studio. They're trying to one up us, and so it's even higher def cameras. The lighting's like
There's no such thing. Don't do. It's even higher def cameras that doesn't exist.
Can I tell you
Tell
something?
him, Simon.
No, just listen, man.
Tell him, did
I'm
it-
not telling him about that. If the reason that Trump hasn't made a bigger deal about this whole assassination thing is because he knows if people start digging too deeply into it, it's going to come back to the truth.
There's just no fucking way. Like
You think
No.
he was
There's no way what?
attempt
there's
assassinated?
no way he was not shot.
okay.
You think he was shot?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I just think what you're talking about orchestrating is like
No, when you see
fucking-
this ear on this high definition camera, and you tell me where it got shot, that's all.
Well, I mean,
that's all.
in all fairness, plastic surgery, I'm sure, could fix up his ear really
Okay,
quick.
then that's fine. Then his hair looks great. He looks great.
He
I
looked
love
great,
the guy. I
and
love
he was so on. Like I had just watched a bunch. I guess it was propaganda, but a bunch of videos about like how senile he's become, and I guess because of the debate,
Fair enough.
I think he just came off
No, he
old and slow. You know,
he doesn't give a fuck. But when a Cash would stand up to laugh at him, I felt there was a battle between Andrew and a Cash for like making an impression on him. Like they obviously wanted him to like him, but when he stood up to laugh, I felt like a little Cat Williams vibe. But I think it'd be worth watching.
I hate that fucking show so much.
yeah, it's one of my least faves.
I gotta be honest too. Like I still stand by it. I don't want the leader of my country going. Like
No.
if I brought in a prime ministerial candidate to interview in this basement, I am no longer voting for that person.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone else should either.
The other person went on Call Her Daddy.
I wouldn't vote for. Hold on. I would
No,
not.
I'm just saying that's where they're at.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll get into that's what's interesting about the Jelly Roll episode. But go on.
I would never vote for Kamala Harris. So don't think that this is like I'm not doing that thing. She is fucking garbage.
They're both garbage.
Yeah.
I believe that's your stance.
And I hate that this is what we've come to.
He just rushed you through that.
I don't care. I don't
No.
want to talk about this. So
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
Right.
like, I
No.
don't give a fuck.
Perfect.
I wanted to expedite.
Expedition granted.
Like, think about it. Last election, we argued ad nauseum. None of us can vote down there. We don't have a leg to stand on. We should have mentioned Florida and North Carolina too off the rip. It's so tough watching what's going on down there.
Well, it's interesting that the second one wasn't as bad as the first one.
It
What are you
is.
talking about?
It dissipated. Like the other one hit Florida and then kept going, and like this one was supposed to be worse than Helene.
I guess it's just because
every hurricane's bad. People died. It's horrible, but it could have been a lot worse.
I guess it's because I spent time in Sarasota, and the second one went like directly through Sarasota and absolutely fucking demolished
Where
it.
you remember seeing and stuff. Like
We were gonna go there like a month from now, and we're just
everyone knows somebody.
yeah.
Hope
And
everyone's all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so sad.
Best wishes to all those people.
It's crazy how like, dude, I saw this video of a guy in his living room in a kayak, and he's so calm.
What would you do if you just here's a hypothetical, okay?
Yeah.
You live in Sarasota or Tampa Bay,
Sure.
where they were expecting
It's the same place. It's 40 minutes away.
Okay.
Same thing.
they were expecting like
The worst of it.
the four,
Yeah.
number 4, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And you have nowhere to go. So you're going to be leaving your house to get whatever, maybe demolished.
Yeah.
And you are going to have to go and stay in a hotel, maybe in a town 4 towns over, whatever.
4 towns. I mean, the whole state is. I know.
I'm
I don't
just
know what
saying.
you do.
So
Simon.
do you stay at your house at that point? Like,
Not if you know it's going to get flooded. I think that's a mistake.
People try to bury them up. They do sandbags. I saw people using, that commercial they make the boat of. Like,
no, but
going for
this
it.
is what I'm saying. So like in Tampa Bay, let's say.
Yeah.
Now I don't know this for sure, but I think like Kamar was saying, by the time it actually reached, it was only like a 2, right? So you probably could have stayed at your house.
I mean, I read that by the time it hit Sarasota, they had 170 kilometer an hour winds. Like that's still enough to turn
yeah.
the roof off your house.
And I
Like,
think
so
the bigger issue was they had just had one, so there's all a bunch of shit everywhere anyways.
That is a
so
huge-
it's just
that Kamar brings up the best point.
Compounded.
All that shit was sitting on the side of the road in piles, and you then have 170 kilometer an hour wind gust through, just picking up garbage and debris.
But Helene freaked me out more because I've never seen that in my life. Not like I'm a fucking connoisseur of hurricanes, but it hit Florida
Dude,
and
North
really
Carolina.
it fell apart. This thing hit the land and just kept doing what it does, and it still doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the North Carolina one, like you guys were saying, it must have been a massive amount of rainfall.
One of those
because
atmospheric river.
it's not picking up water from the
It's
ocean.
not salt water,
and-
exactly.
and dropping it that far inland. Like that's the crazy.
So it's just sucking up from
imagine,
lakes?
dude. Imagine that's how it worked though. Like the hurricane picks up the water from the ocean and then just dumps it into.
Well, that's
don't
what it
forget,
made it look like.
A storm surge is basically a hurricane
Yeah.
pushing all the ocean water inland.
Pushing all the ocean water inland.
Yeah. Like Sarasota is flooded. All that area is flooded because the storm was pushing all the water
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Gotcha.
There could be no storm surge for those floods.
No, because they're in the fucking mountains. Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. But I also
it's
read
very,
like they were
very
showing like 800 millimeters. I always hate when they put it in millimeters too. Like I'm all for the metric system, but millimeters is fucking obscene. There was like 800 millimeters of rain overnight in parts of Florida.
Well, and all you
That's a
would,
meter of water.
this is what I mean. All you would need, like at that point, you have to open up dams to release pressure, and then it's
think a
like
dam
this
fails.
chain reaction.
There's no
of-
dams in Florida.
No,
No,
I'm
the
saying
dams in
North Carolina. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like thinking here, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
we had something crazy happen last night, or I think it was last
Yeah,
night.
you saw aliens.
No, there was like a lot of wind. It was a very windy day. And
It was
I
windy
think,
last night.
Well, we've had hella tornadoes in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I just wonder if we were getting the remnants.
I
of
was thinking
something
this
up
is the
here.
peak fall for leaves and stuff. Like at my place, all the leaves were gone. I don't know even why we're talking about this.
No,
Anyway,
we're
back to
not.
Casey and Calamines, because I just brought up Florida and how it was
and I want to say
devastating.
what's cool but not cool. But the hurricanes can come from like next year they could come from the Atlantic side. or whatever. You never know.
Kamara looked like he was in basketball juking someone out there.
FDA is funded by the pharmaceutical companies. The you know, the mob should be funding the police. That's what it'd be like if organized crime, the proceeds from that.
Don't worry, we'll pay
plays
for the cops.
Actually, you should probably. That makes sense.
And while
Well, if
we're
you
at
think
it,
about it-
we'll pay for the lawyers and the judges too.
I mean, Kamara, I don't think you realize it, but that is how it works.
It is how it works. The whole thing is a scam.
I don't know if you.
And the only person who can fight
Wait.
institutional capture, which that is Donald Trump.
This is super important. For the first time in U.S. history, seizures exceeded theft in the U.S.
Seizures exceeded theft. So there's more stolen goods being recovered than is being stolen.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I mean is the government is seizing more money from people and more goods than people are stealing from other people. So, like, if you take all the theft in America and add it all up, the government has taken more from citizens through seizures than theft, which is fucking lunacy.
Seizure is just is the government word for theft.
But that can't be right with all the theft that's going on in
Well, they might not be
American
reporting any of that. Who
cities
knows?
right now? You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't know that. Like, they might be. You're forgetting too. They could seize. Like, let's say they seize a cartel bank account. I mean, how much money is that?
Speaking of that, are you proud of that?
What?
Didn't that make you proud?
What?
TD Bank got busted laundering cartel money.
That was crazy, eh?
Aren't you sort of proud though? Like
They're
it's a negative thing,
bank
but
ever to be sued by.
no, they went all the way because there was a German bank or somebody a couple years ago. Everyone gets
Is
in on
that
it.
Toronto Dominion TD?
Yeah, baby, $3 billion fine. Let's go.
Jesus.
Keep in mind, Simon. There's two different. Like the
This
U.S.
was the
branch
US,
of the
yeah.
U.S. branch of TD is not. Because I remember when I moved to New York, I saw TD and I was like, "Oh, sick." I went in with my bank card and they were like, "We don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
this
it was
is."
still Americans, but
Yeah, I know. Right on.
reminded
Way
me
to
of
go. Yeah.
Canada. So here's the deal, and this is a overarching similarity in every situation. The more prescriptions they're giving more prescriptions, more SRIs, everything for everything, and people are the worst they've ever been. Just like they're spending the most on the homeless situation, it's the worst it's ever been. There's a broken thing because everything needs for it to exist, for it to be. Now I just sound like Kamala Harris. Unbelievable. But am I wrong?
I don't know. I mean, according to Pinker,
No. The Pinker, whatever, every day is great. We're alive. But these systems are broken because they need to keep going.
yeah. I mean, I wonder if without social media, would SSRIs and things like that been just in check? You know, like with
Well, she thinks it's junk food that makes people go to junk media.
Possibly. I think the junk food is just like you were saying, it dumbs you down, and then the social media is how they extract the.
That's just
or
an added
get
bonus.
you to do what they want.
That's just an
because
added
you're
bonus for
dumbed down and hazy.
Who saw
you
it
know?
coming?
I think they always knew it was coming. It really doesn't seem like we always look back and like, oh yeah, you know, this came out of nowhere. It was that guy in his garage with his friend, you know. Like, that's never the case. It's always, oh, that was invented by this guy who just happens to be the son of the dude who led the CIA op to start the Vietnam War. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that's not necessarily true, but I think it's more a case of like if you look at the internet, once the internet hit a certain amount of people or a certain boiling point, I think at that point all the powers that be were like, well, we'll just take this thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Like you know what I mean? Like I think it's too much work for them to try and infiltrate, to try to create things, whereas it's easier just to infiltrate. Right? Like, oh, the internet is the thing everyone's using now. Well, guess what? We just took it and now we use it to farm your data, to sell you stuff. And we actually run the internet and everything you read is ours and every website is ours. Like I was thinking about it the other day, when you first got an iPhone, it felt like there was new apps all the time. Like a new app to download or like something new that made your phone like a
But
new cool.
you are in an Apple verse.
What do you act like there's not? apps
because
for
there
fucking-
was no like
No,
social
with
media.
Android and all those, there's a whole nother world of apps that you don't even know about.
But social media hadn't taken a hold yet, Matt. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm sure it existed, but it wasn't like so. For you to have fun on your phone, you needed to download those apps, so you had games to play or whatever. As soon as you could just go to TikTok and start flicking, start scrolling, you don't need. I mean, you could still buy apps, but you don't need them anymore. Your phone has become so much more than.
No, but even then, I think it's more insidious than that. It's like you would think that every day there would be a new Instagram popping up. I don't mean Instagram. I mean in some sort of.
There is.
No, but there is and there isn't.
There's
No,
definitely
there
there's
isn't.
there's definitely new games. Fortnite's popping up every second.
Yeah, but this is the thing: is like all those games are made by the same people, and it's all the same shitty business model. Where it's like we're gonna bombard you with ads unless you pay for the full game, and we're gonna make you buy coins and re-up and buy the battle pass or whatever the fuck bullshit they're trying to sell you. Like I don't even download games on my phone anymore because it's all garbage. But I think the point is just like it felt like there was a time where like it just feels like it's all controlled by like 4 companies.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why we don't get anything new.
As well as the healthcare system, as well as the food system. But I mean, like you said, it's American, so it's not really our problem. They contend that the only person that can take on and tackle this corruption is Trump, Elon, and RFK. Rate it.
Hold on, don't do that.
That's what they said. They said
And
the Christian.
don't leave Tulsi out.
They
That's
think if
not
we start
nice.
eating healthier, they could go back to more spirituality, finding God.
Do you? Here's an honest question. Okay, Kamar, honest question.
The honest question is, he had asked him something about homosexual marriage.
If Trump gets into office,
Yeah.
okay, wins this next election, do you really believe that there's going to be these sweeping changes? Like RFK is going to move right in there and just do all these things that we want RFK to do, and everything's just going to get better all of a sudden? Like, do you really think that's going to happen in 4 years?
I don't. They think it's going to happen in 1 year.
Well, that's just
what they're saying.
impossible.
That's what they were saying. I'm
I know.
repeating what they said.
No, but I like that
So
he's
you
get-
could
I-
argue with what they think.
But it's nice
I'm
to get.
just
Hold on, it's
asking-
nice to get you on record either way.
I'm just asking. I'm interested to know what, after thinking there was an alien invasion.
I think if Trump wins the presidency, something bad is going to happen in Iran. Really bad.
Well, that's not going to be good for anyone.
I think whether Trump wins the presidency or not, something's going to happen in Iran.
Something's going to happen in Iran, but
Like Trump is pro-Israel as fuck, and
think Trump
Kamala
thinks
is
Iran
definitely
is trying to
the
kill him.
Democrats are pro-Israel as fuck.
I think Trump thinks Iran is trying to kill him.
Oh, he said that on. He
So-
said it on
So that's what-
Flagrant, Matt. That was what came out of that. By the way,
That's what I think. That's what I think.
they asked him who he thought tried to assassinate him, and he did went hill and dale to subvert the answer, and eventually they called him on it, and he said, "Yeah, that Iran has had a."
Yeah, I have bad news though.
Hit on
I
me.
know that you don't think this is possible. It's very easy that someone in his camp was just like said the word Iran, and he was like, "Yep, must have been Iran."
Perfect. That's too bad for Iran.
Yeah,
I actually give this a 3.5.
yeah, I agree.
I give this one a 2.
I mean, it was boring, but I think it's like,
It was boring.
yeah, but
It
these
was
are
super
important.
boring.
It's
These are,
just weird, the dynamic. Are they brother, sister?
or are they fucking? That's what you want to know. That's your question.
No, well, they are brother, sister. I'm sure of it.
So then
Husband and wife.
so you're still
I think
curious, are
it's
they
brother
fucking?
and sister.
I'm pretty sure I saw them make out on the feed.
Well, that's weird.
I'm sure you also saw.
I'm just joking. I didn't see them.
I'm sure you also saw in closing that Elon confirmed that Donald Trump is going on JRE.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I did see what the hell you were talking about last week.
What was I talking about?
Elon on stage with Trump jumping around
Oh, you hadn't seen it.
is one
He
of
acted
the
like he did,
most
though. That's good.
fucking. No, I said I did. Is one of the most cringe things I've ever seen in my life.
It's like De Niro
It's-
kicking.
Dude, it's like De Niro kicking. That's why I thought it was AI.
Yeah.
It is fucking nuts. Like, it's nuts.
You know what's crazy too is like Joe, like Joe brings on Peter Hotez and is like, why don't you work out, you fat fuck? And then Elon comes on, can't jump 4 inches, looks like the most
Did
out
you
of
see
fucking
how he
shape.
was jumping? There's no way that guy beats up Zuckerberg. He can't throw a ball. There's no way that guy can throw a ball.
I
You know what
probably
I'm
agree
saying?
with you. Yeah.
Nobody jumps like that. What was he doing?
Simon, I couldn't tell you.
Okay, remember when I showed you a while back, there was this meme going around? They took this weird picture of Elon. You remember where it looked like he was like
Yeah, where he was on the boat.
weirdly fat? Yeah,
Yeah.
on the boat. And then they did the meme of it was like a little
Yeah,
robot
Krang or whatever,
inside
yeah.
his body. That's how that thing would jump.
Yeah. Poorly.
Yeah, and very unhuman like.
Yeah. Like a Boston Dynamic robot.
Yeah, like an alien trying to like pretend he was a young man.
I would say something 10 years ago, but I honestly feel if I tried to do that, that's how I would jump.
I thought we were just talking about the other day that you can dunk.
No, it was hit the basketball from half.
Yeah.
Do you think you could touch the rim?
No,
Fuck no.
no.
Are you kidding?
I
Just
thi-
touch the rim, not grab the rim.
I
Just
think,
touch.
I think.
Yeah, I said
I
no.
know. I understand what you say. I think I might be. No, I can't.
I could
can't.
grab-
I have Tom Segura before I did anything.
I can grab the bottom of the hoop and then pull myself up to the rim.
grab the netting. you
Yes,
mean?
the net, if there is such a thing. Most
That turned
courts
me
in
on.
Ottawa don't have them.
No, I unless I get my knee fixed, I can never jump again. 2212 Jelly Roll.
Let's talk about jelly roll.
Let's talk about Jelly Roll.
I want to know, like I said
Jelly,
before, to
jelly roll
Simon,
loves talking about jelly roll.
I have no friends.
What are you talking about? You filled a fucking bar the other night.
It was all family.
You have way more friends than I do. What are you even talking about?
Well, then you guys really
Yeah,
have
I
no
have.
friends.
There you go.
And
This guy hangs out with me and he doesn't even enjoy it. That's how few friends
well,
he has.
at least he has you. Just the way the Jelly Roll goes, me and Killer Tony have become really good friends. And then at another point, he's FaceTiming a country music guy who's like,
When was the last time you became really good friends with someone?
Oh my God, 15 years ago? You?
yeah,
you.
right?
It was
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You were the last.
And,
Oh no.
and you became friends
James.
with
Yeah.
your boyfriend there.
But that was even like I was living in Toronto. So that's 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's when we
Yeah, parted
you
ways.
didn't, well, you didn't live in the city anymore, so
Yeah, that's how Simon's
that's
friendship
how
works.
I operate. If you leave, you're dead to me.
I called Simon one day from Vancouver just to be like, I'm going to be in Ottawa in a few months. You want to get a poker game together? And I'm not joking. I called. I was like, Simon, what's up? He's like, is this Matt? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm verbatim. He goes, what are you calling for?
Well, it was weird. He lived somewhere else. You know?
you're not my friend.
Yeah, literally. Are you selling me something? Yeah. Because I'm not buying, pal.
I don't want your timeshare in fucking
yeah.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have
So
no
you
friends.
don't have a lot of friends. Why? What brought this on?
But do you think if you had a lot of friends, like I even just we're always FaceTiming. I guess it's just the successful lifestyle. You got to be friendly.
Are you in a
Who are
group?
you
Are you in
constantly
a group
FaceTiming
chat with
with?
more than 5 people?
You won, I think.
Then you have friends.
That's my friend.
Do you have a weekly meetup with more than 5 people?
Yeah.
I guess you have a group of
It's
friends.
almost like
No, but
Kamar
why-
doesn't like the people he's
No, that's
meeting
it.
up
And
with.
I
he's
can
like,
hold on. I
No,
can
why
back
we-
this up.
Would-
I can back up what you're saying. He walked up to me. First thing he said to me on Wednesday at trivia, he goes, I thought by now I'd have one successful friend. You think you like, but no, I'm just surrounded by dullards like this.
Yes, I said
we
before.
went out a couple of months back for one of our friends who came into town.
Yeah.
And we saw another old friend who we hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And I said to Kamar, like, you guys are good friends. And he's like, no. Like back in the day, I'm like, you guys were like close. Like
No.
you hung out. He's like, I hardly knew the guy. He's like, and getting all mad at me too. Like, you don't know me, Simon. You don't know my life. And then later
Disgusted.
on, we call him on it, and like they hung out all the time. You know what I
But
mean? The
he
guy
does have a good job,
recited
man.
Kamar's phone number from when he was a kid. Like, so I'm telling you, Kamar has plenty of friends. I just really feel like
Then I don't take. These guys are texting and talking all the time.
Who's these guys?
Jelly Roll, Joe,
these
Kill
famous
Tony.
comedians who don't
They
have
don't
to
have
work.
jobs.
That's what
They're
it
on the
is.
road all the
That's what
fucking
it is.
time. Joe's in the ice bath texting with hard nipples. I don't even think that's a text you
We
want.
got to text more, guys.
Oh, fuck
That's
off.
what we're missing.
This guy doesn't even respond. I texted both of you this week. What do we feel about football
I froze.
picks?
I froze.
This guy
I
fucking-
froze. Mitzi's bar is open to public, so you don't have to be a comic to go there. It just closes down a certain hour.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then becomes a private club for only comics.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
that's now the new thing to get into.
I'm surprised they would do that. Why not make it
Exclusive? Money.
Exclusive.
It's money. There's only one reason anything happens
hold
in
on.
this country is money.
They have plenty of money.
More money.
No, I'm just saying, like, out of all the things, just keep that. It must be. Are you sure? Are you
Why?
sure?
Must be money.
Just out of curiosity, why? Like you have a green room that's very private.
So
So I don't know why you need another separate
'Kay,
bar.
all-
And people go there. You talk about it all the time. They're always begging to get in.
All I'm saying, so then you bring them in as a guest. All I'm saying is, you've built this whole thing out.
Yeah.
You put the bars where you wanted to put the bars. You put the things where you wanted to put the thing. Like, put it in the back. It doesn't have to be. You know what I mean?
But now you can go there and know what it feels like to be there when the cool people are there.
You know what I love? I love the idea that Simon opens his own bar and he creates like a VIP bar in the back and then he bans everyone. And it's just him at his own discotheque, but like lonely as fuck. Like
it's just a pool table, but I'm the only one playing.
exactly.
It's like the ping pong tables in there, but I've put one end up,
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
just fucking,
you're just serving yourself.
yeah.
He's put out an album. This whole thing is about stories.
I mean, listen, sorry, Kumar. I would love to build a bar just so I could have friends. Like
It's a good
Joe
way to get
Rogan
friends.
did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be awesome.
He acts like he doesn't own property, have money, and the
If
ability
any of
to
us
open a bar.
I don't think
No.
we would,
I'm not saying-
because we have no friends.
But we have no friends, exactly. So you wouldn't attract anybody over. That would be the problem.
You hire young women and the bar is full.
That's possible.
And then those people become your friends. First you get the money,
I was just gonna say,
then you get
thank
the
you.
khakis, then you get the girls.
And then you get sued for sexual harassment and you're back to where you started. It's really why bother.
Then you get the lawyers, then you get the restraining orders.
But life, all we have is stories.
Go on.
I don't even have those.
You have stories.
Kidding.
We've told 4 stories since we've sat down here and relating to what we're discussing.
Yes, all we have is stories.
Those are memories, Kamar.
Yes,
That's
and also,
history.
so they were talking about our Ari Shafir show. There would be a wicked like thing with musicians. If musicians really told stories, like
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Except it would be
in the
Ozzy
rawest
Osbourne
way.
up there, and he'd be like, and then the fucking stripper came down. Yeah,
it's too late for a bunch of our guys, and now the rock star's dead, like the whole thing. But the reason why they don't do that is because there wasn't cameras back then.
well, you'd also have
Like
some-
no one could. There was a 12-year-old. Like they would have crazy in dating stuff.
That's
they
what I was
would have
about to say, yeah.
but they would have had the craziest stories.
Puff Daddy showed up with 900 dildos. It was incredible.
You want to know why there was 7,000 bottles of lube? I can tell you.
Did you guys see the photo, by the way, of the? It's the wildest photo I've ever seen. It's like 4 sheriff's deputies standing. They look like it's a drug bust. You know when they're standing around a table full of guns and drugs, and there's
And
like
it's all lube.
it's a kiddie pool filled with dildos, like to the brim. I think they said they confiscated 770
This
some
is
odd
at
at
Diddy's
Diddy's
house?
house.
Is that true?
I gotta find the photo.
I
for
bet
you.
just people don't want to use just a raw dildo. He just had them all in the packaging that was an amassing over the years of freakouts.
Yeah, maybe
that makes sense. Right?
Maybe it was a thing where, like, in the gift bags, he would give out dildos, and then people would take them out and like play with them as like a joke or whatever. I don't know.
I like
Matt was saying that he doesn't think that every person who went to the Diddy parties was necessarily getting diddied or diddying people. You know,
Could
what
they
I mean?
be not saying something though?
Uh,
Could they be seeing something and not saying something?
Well, because we were talking about LeBron,
Mm-hmm.
and LeBron's been to a lot of Diddy parties.
and LeBron is very successful.
And Matt was saying, you know, whatever, you can still go there and not be part of that. And I said, yes, that's very true. But you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. And you can't get diddied or diddy people if you don't go to the white party. You know what I mean?
Well, there's other white
there's
parties, there's
footage,
other
though.
islands.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
an analogy.
Okay, if we
And
found out,
it's an
but Simon,
analogy.
if you found out that it was a honeypot scenario, then you would know for sure that it doesn't even matter whether you diddied someone or not. They were just trying to get you in that room to throw fucking shade at you, right?
Well, I mean, really, the whole point of the honeypot is not just to be able to throw shade at you. It's
No,
so
no,
that
I
they
think
have something.
Oh
on
no,
you.
no, I think the people that they get something on. But then the people that are there, we have. Oh, you were there either way. You know what I mean? It's an easy way to fucking tarnish a career.
It's like not everybody who flew on Epstein's jet was.
Precisely, but
Doing something bad.
right away, it's going to throw a stain on every scientist, every comedian, every, you know what I mean? Like, do I think Michelle Wolf raped a kid because she was on an Epstein flight? No. I mean, we know that fucking 10 Joe Rogan guests have been on Epstein flights.
Diddy
at least.
had parties where there were families and children there. And then they used to say, okay, everyone's leaving in an hour. Whoever leaves there
Yeah.
can fall under...
No.
I went to Diddy party. I didn't do anything. I
Kamar,
didn't say anything wrong.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
all I was saying too. I'm just saying that if you're there at 12 o'clock when the bell strikes and everybody's supposed to go home, and you're just like, well, I'm drunk, I'm just gonna go see what's going on at the other part of the party. That's how you get in trouble. And you can't get in trouble if you're not at the Diddy party. That's all I was saying.
But I also like keep in mind, like the security guard that came forth with the video
Can't
of
die in a plane crash if you're not on a
If you're not flying.
But again, the security guard that heard fucking Meek Mill getting fucked by Diddy, like he was there, he has the evidence, he spoke about it. Doesn't mean he was you know what I mean? Like he obviously has dirt because he was there, but he didn't partake. I mean, let's assume he didn't partake in any of it, right? So we know that not 100% of the people involved were necessarily up to fucking weirdo shit.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that it was.
Yeah.
I just was noting that those people who did go to Diddy's
Should
party
be carefully looked at. I agree.
have a way bigger percentage of a chance of being involved
Yeah.
than, I don't know, you or I.
Yeah.
Or some other celebrity who didn't go to the Diddy parties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
But like I said, I just think my point goes back to like, we're talking about a guy who's been in the public eye for 30 years. The amount of celebrities that have been to his parties is probably like staggering.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I bet
For
it's
sure.
all of Hollywood and music.
And I just want to point something else out. Diddy William Morris himself. He was Puff Daddy, and then he was Puffy, and then he was Diddy. Every time he got in trouble, he just changed his name. Isn't that what William Morris did?
Yeah.
They became
Philip Morris. Philip
Philip.
Morris.
What
Yeah,
did I
sorry,
say?
William, yeah.
Philip Morris. They became Atrium.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck. they're
Ultrium. Ultrium. It's so funny too. I can see their ad right now too, like Ultrium. Ultrium.
Not the cigarette company.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like when
Freedom,
It's
freedom,
like when Google
expression,
used to
expression.
have the
Yeah, don't be evil.
do no evil.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Google.
Now they're like, well,
We didn't think you were doing evil at all, but now we totally
Yeah.
think you're doing evil.
The one thing he talked about that I really thought about was vortex of a tour. So you're whatever you're doing it and you're just doing that, and you don't have to worry about work because that is your work, and the outside world doesn't really matter because you're whatever it was. I mean, he could be doing a convention for something that you're always just on the road, the next place, and you just
The only time you could ever have that, like us as people, is if you go traveling overseas or something, you know what I mean? And then you're gone for 3 months, 4 months, and you're like detached from here, and you come back and you're like, holy shit, really? Like they won the Super Bowl, and you know what I mean?
I think it's different for them though because you're surrounded by friends. Like normally when you go to Europe, you know, you go with a significant other, maybe family. Like it's rare that you would go on a Europe trip with 7 friends, and as we know, none of us are successful, so that's never going to happen. Where was I going with this?
the vortex of the tour.
Oh
not
yeah,
knowing
no,
what's going
they're
on.
making money.
Yes,
That's
the
I think,
other
like
part of
Simon,
this.
if you go on a
You're-
3-month
this is a
European
successful thing.
vacation,
Like you're worried about money.
that's
a
it. When
week,
you're like,
yeah,
fuck, when I get
whatever.
home, I'm gonna have all these
That's what I'm saying.
bills.
You have no worries. Whatever you're doing. That's the saying. If
You got a per diem.
if you-
All your shit's taken care of.
Even if you were setting up for the Rolling Stones for 9 months,
Incredible.
you'd just be stuck in a tour of like Newtown, whatever. And I think that's an interesting place to be. So for you, you have to have it all paid for.
No, I'm saying it's easy to like not notice politics going on when he's on tour because he's doing.
Not that
his
we
tour.
want his hot takes on any politics by any means, but he actually is on the show as well too. He said, "I'm here to promote my album. I might have the best album in the world." Joe goes, "Well, what does it matter? Have you done everything?" That's a good thing he said that, Joe, because that was what this. He can't help but love himself. He said, "Celebrate every little thing," and it's an Americana of just every story led to a story of a story of a story, much in the preacher way, as he gave credence to Sam, what's his name, Kinison.
I think it's tough though. None of us have ever really hit rock bottom. I feel like if you hit absolute rock bottom and then became wildly successful, you'd probably be like, I bet your attitude would be very much one of positivity and like, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I take nothing away from this guy. You
I'm
know
not saying
what I
you do,
mean?
yeah.
I just, at this point, I'll listen to his music. I don't need to hear his view on politics or you know what I mean? Whatever it is, that's not why you search out Jelly Roll.
And the only thing I drew from this was stuff about artistry. He said doing something for 10 years with no avail is really hard. Doing something for 15 is even harder.
Can I ask you a question though, just on the political topic? Do you not think that it's not a remedy, a symptom of the Joe Rogan experience?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like if he goes on Flagrant, for example, they're probably not going to talk about too much politics, right?
Agreed,
There
yeah.
seems to be something about Joe in particular where people are like,
Well, I think Joe brings it up a lot.
Big
I
stage.
think there's that too, yeah.
It's like what Kamar did a little while ago with Trump. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he does that a
Inserts
lot,
it. Yeah, I
and then
agree.
wonders why there's so much Trump talk on his
They were
program.
all they talked about was Trump. The whole episode with Joe, Kaylee, and Casey Means talked about Trump.
I'm not. Listen, don't take it so personally.
I'm not taking it personally at all. I don't know how I could not talk about them without mentioning Trump.
I didn't say. Did I say that?
is that all you have for Jelly Roll? He wasn't talking about you, Kamar.
He said he can write a song, but sometimes he can't sing it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's
And
weird.
he said he wrote like 100 songs in prison, so it almost feels like some Jay-Z shit going on. He can't help himself but to write songs. I don't feel that way about jokes. You can't help, like, I gotta tell, I just want to do it, but it's not like the funniest thing I gotta talk about now, and it's harder because we can't do it all the time. But he just can't help but write songs. He thought the chorus of the one song, what was it? Somebody save me.
I don't know any
from
Jelly Roll music.
myself. Anyways, he said he wrote that song, thought the chorus was the actually started the song, and it worked out to be a super big hit. But then Eminem took that, made it his chorus, and it worked. Just that idea of the tune in your head is a hit. Like, I know this thing that's going over and over again. If other people like to hear it, it's a weird thing. Speaking of the muse,
Do you know who Noah Kahan is?
Noah Khan, man, yeah, he's the biggest guy. in
Noah
the world.
Khan. That's how you say that.
Yeah,
He's like a internet music guy.
he's huge. He was doing all the stadiums last summer.
No, I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I had never
good?
heard of him either. I mean, I doubt it's your thing.
What does that mean?
Drew loves him. No, it's hit music.
There's,
It's a
I
big-
doubt it's your thing.
You've heard on the radio.
I heard
that
one
we heard it.
song. I could not get it out of my head.
Oh, yeah, it's
I heard it once and was singing it for like hours,
Well, I
and
painted.
then went and looked it up and like
last year we painted to that album for a
it's
day.
very sad.
Yeah, but in that contradiction, a juxtaposition of music where it's sad content matter, but the music is alive and it's
Anyways, I don't know much about him.
what's the line? Because I'm from Boston. Well, anyways,
No.
we'll go over it later. Fire and Rain, saddest song. They started playing music. That was beautiful.
One
Fire
of
and
the
Rain
one of the
I think
lines
that's the
was
saddest song.
oh forget it.
Yeah. Sorry, you don't think it's what's the
What?
sadder song?
Then what?
Well, I think we had a discussion before. Fire and Rain, Tears in Heaven,
Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle.
Well, I think the one with the kid falling out.
Tears in Heaven.
That's got to be the saddest song.
You know what the funny thing is though is here's why I disagree. I mean, I guess you could argue the same about Cats in the Cradle because I heard it 100 times before I really listened to the lyrics. But like, I had to be told Tears in Heaven was about Eric Clapton's kid. Like,
Oh, yeah,
there
yeah,
was
yeah.
no, but so that's why it's like less impactful for me. Is like when you hear it, you're like, oh my god, it's
But
about his.
same with Fire and Rain, like Suzanne, the plans they made. Put
She died
an
in a
end
plane
to you.
crash.
You wouldn't know what the fuck that was if you didn't know.
That's why I said Cats in the Cradle though, because if you really listen to the lyrics, it's a straightforward story
So
in
what?
three.
Sorry, what's Cats in the Cradle? Because there's Cats in the Cradle, and then there's Father and Son.
Yeah,
right?
so Cats
which
in
is
the-
also very sad.
Yeah, Cats in the Cradle is the one where it's like a child was born just the other day, came
Thanks
to the world.
He
So the
said,
idea is,
thanks, Dad, for the let's
Yeah,
come
so the
on,
idea
let's
is-
play." And then what's with Father and Son?
I don't know, I don't remember.
I thought they were the same song. I'm so confused.
I'm gonna be like you, Dad.
That's
You know
Cats
I'm
in the
gonna
Cradle.
be
That's
like
Father and
you.
Son?
No, that's Cats in the Cradle. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. Boom, bow, bow.
Is the Edmund Fitzgerald? That's a really sad song, right?
About a ship going down.
And men dying
Of men dying.
in Lake Superior.
Yeah, and there must be a what's it called? A
Bill
Neil
Withers.
Young
Bill
song
Withers.
that's
Hope she'll be
sad.
happy.
He's a
Oh,
sad guy.
Needle in the Damage.
Oh,
Dog.
that's Father and Son, isn't it?
What, Old Man?
Old man.
Old man, take a look at my life. That's actually, you know what
And
though?
if and if
I like you hit that.
That's about a ranch hand
I
on
know,
his fucking ranch.
but
Yeah.
it's associated with the guy dying in
Yeah.
the skateboard movie.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. The song came before the
I know,
movie.
but for me, it's associated
So
with
I was looking at him and I was
what's
like,
his name dying in what's that fucking movie called?
Dogtown and Z-Boys?
Not Dogtown and Z Boys. Lord, yeah,
Lords
yeah.
of
No,
Dogtown.
Dogtown and Z Boys.
the documentary,
The documentary. When what's his name dies?
Jay.
Jay. Thank you. They play that song and it's super sad.
at my
I defy you not to cry
with that visual.
with the visual of him and his whole life and everything he went through, and then
I always found Ain't No Sunshine. It's so simple. Just him slapping the guitar. But I always found that song sad.
that is a sad song.
Well, that is a sad song.
Yeah. Because there ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Sounds sad and is sad.
What about anything
Sounds
by
happy, but
Radiohead?
is
Which one?
Anything by Radiohead is a
Oh,
sad
any song. Yeah. No, I will agree
Jason
with that.
Isbell wrote a song that Zach Bryan sings in the back of a shed by a fire, and that's a really sad song.
Oh, I'm sorry. Strange Fruit is the saddest song of all time.
What strange fruit?
It was actually written by a Jew,
Dress
interestingly
Blues is
enough.
the Jason Isbell song.
And it was performed originally by Billie Holiday, and then it became super famous by Nina
What's the
Simone.
song? Sing it.
I can't sing it. It's I'll play it for you if you'd like.
Biko's a sad song too about the
Nico.
Biko, the South African singer leader that was beaten to death.
What about you know that song? I live upstairs from you.
That's a very sad
That's
song.
a very sad
Very
song
sad
because
song.
that
What song
kid's
is that?
getting
My name is
abused.
Luca.
My name is
My name is Luca.
I live on the second floor. It's
about a kid
I
getting
live upstairs.
abused by
from
her
you.
family.
I guess
That
you've
works
never
with
seen
The
me
Professional.
before. Yeah, and with The Professional, that's a fucking weird movie in retrospect.
movie.
Eh? Of course, it's French.
He's grippy.
It's like Macron's
He's
You're
the
talking about
grippy-
wet dream.
Léon, le professionnel.
Le creepy Léon.
He is. He's like Pepe Le Pew in real life.
And James Taylor, who did Fire and Rain, who got this started, self-taught musician is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it always fucks me up.
I had
And
a
so they playing stuff that's not like that's how you do it. No, that's how I do it. That's the thing.
It doesn't fuck me up anymore. Sorry, Simon. Just one sec. It doesn't fuck me up anymore. Now there's YouTube. But pre-YouTube, people that were self-taught musicians
up and
really fucked
figured
me
out.
up. Yeah, go ahead, Simon. I'm sorry.
I had a friend in high school, well, in elementary school, and his dad was one of those guys who could hear a song,
And just
play it, pick up any instrument, and figure it out. You know
God.
what I mean? Some people
you should
just
be
have
the king
these
of the world. you
like
should be prime minister.
innate musical skills, and then you have people like me who can't keep a beat.
Yeah, I can't. It's funny because
I cannot do like a 1/4 whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I just couldn't read music. Like it was so beyond me. I could not.
I would love to see you guys dancing at a wedding.
Together?
Oh no, side by each, mirror screens. Who dances it off more? But I'd love to see that. I wasn't like 25 years old when I realized that Sweet Home Alabama was a Neil Young diss track, and one of the first ones.
I knew that, yeah.
She came out in 1974. So I would have been like 8, I think, the first time I heard it or knew I was listening to it.
Well, how long did you think Leonard Skinner was actually a person?
Hold on, wait. You were 8 in 1974? How fucking
I
old are you?
I was born in 1975.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't have listened to music till I was 8 years old.
I was like, is Kamar my mom's age?
1983. And Leonard Skinner came from?
He's your new stepdad?
He's always been my dad. Leonard Skinner came from
Jacksonville.
Okay.
And Jacksonville then produced, 20 years later.
But Leonard Skinner wasn't a person.
Yeah, it's a band.
It's a band.
It's a last name, isn't it? Like, it wasn't Tracy Skinner and
Is it?
another Skinner? I don't know.
What's the name of the band? It's a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
But for the longest time, I thought Leonard Skinner
was
was
a
a
guy.
We were kids. We were
guy
idiots.
named
Yeah,
Leonard.
Yeah, yeah.
His last name was Skinner.
And he spelled Leonard all weird. Leonard.
Leonard, yeah. Well, it's probably like the names of people mixed together. You know what I mean?
Just feels like an incest name. Like, oh, go get old Leonard.
Leonard
Who's a guitar guy? I'm trying to think of him.
Bernstein.
He is a guy. Ted Nuggets.
Ted Nugent.
Nuggets. Ted Nuggets.
Ted Nuggets. He is a guy, but that should be, it's like a pseudonym.
Dude, he should have been called Ted Nuggets. He made a real mistake going with Nugent.
Call me Teddy Nuggets.
Teddy Nuggets.
Let's go.
Nugent.
Like, how
let's
are
go
you?
shoot
How
some
are
hogs.
you? How are you that close? About to become a superstar, and you don't know to go with Nuggets?
He needed a good Jew in his corner.
I said it wrong.
What, Nugent?
But we discovered that it should have been Nuggets all along, just like Jelly knew the hook was the hit.
The hook was the hit.
The hook's always the hit.
The hit's the hook.
But what was I going to say about Nate Bargatze?
Love him.
Do you see him? He was just outside live. When
Was he? Good for him.
The George second time.
Second time, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
He is the funniest
Dude, some of those skits are really funny.
with the George Washington
yeah.
ones.
Oh my God.
There's
Dude.
it's on
I'll go
YouTube.
look at streaming. Yeah.
But he is.
I thought that was that the last time he was on? I thought it was.
He's done
this
that
time.
both.
He's done it both times.
twice.
Oh my God. They redid this.
And Jelly Roll went to it. Nate Bargatze, I think, is the best.
He's definitely one of my favorite comedians.
And
You haven't
because
seen him live, have you?
No.
Fucking.
because I said and saw it, like I've just been getting nothing but Nate on TikTok, and I'm not mad at that because he is so funny, and it's like trying to look at it and why is that?
Because he has really good jokes.
His
and-
delivery is
timing
fucking
and
incredible.
It's
He's
just a ninja,
Nate's-
and you can see him now. That Nate, and you can see old Nate when he had long hair, and you can
Little
sort of
fatter.
see a bit of it, but how it's been refined. He's really, and he is 100% clean.
Yeah.
He does not need to swear,
Nope.
which is
And his dad opens up for
the
him,
Holy
which is
Grail.
fucking heartwarming as shit.
Well, it's funny too because he does the whole bit about his dad being the failed magician.
Well, his dad does magic before the
no,
show.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's great. I knew I loved Nate Bargatze. Actually, what turned me on to him was not his comedy. It was me. I guess I was listening to a podcast or something, and I heard him telling the story about the McDonald's and
Big J. Gomez. Yeah, taking the bite.
taking the bite of it, who wants to go back and fight the guy back there. And if you're a guy who's taking a bite out of people's hamburgers in the McDonald's, you're like
I'm willing to
wanting
fight,
people
yeah.
to come back there and fight you.
no, he's the standard, man. I swear to God, I can't think of someone I would recommend more if someone were to.
There's an amazing
would
bit
agree.
he does. I won't do it, but the premise is he's in a hotel with his wife and he makes her sleep closer to the door because if somebody breaks in, he wants her to be attacked first so he has time to
save the family. They need
no
me,
to
but-
save himself.
Obviously, yeah, he's from Tennessee. Jelly Roll's from Tennessee. Something's going down in Tennessee. Have you ever been to Tennessee?
Oh, say
not,
Tennessee again, motherfucker.
Tennessee,
I've driven through it, but I
Tennessee.
haven't stopped. I have not stopped. Tennessee.
Arrested Development.
What about it?
Great band. You remember Arrested
I
Development?
was going to say terrific show.
I
Both-
am
Both
everyday
things are
people.
true at the same time.
I think it's a better show than it was a band.
Was Mr. Wendell them too?
Yes, it was
Mr. Wendell. Hey, 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 hey.
And that's just like Jelly Roll says. If someone doesn't know Sweet Home Alabama, are you like, you're weird?
No, I know from trivia
Is
that
there any song that you have then though?
yeah, listen, Bill Withers is the one at trivia that gets people more than anything, and that bothers me.
No, this is the situation. Oh, I guess they don't know it, but they don't know it. But no, Bill Withers is a deep cut.
Does anybody ever get?
They know of him. They didn't know that was him.
Does anybody ever get stumped by Brand Van 3000?
No.
Because
Yeah.
I noticed you put it in a lot.
Yeah, it's a good stumper. Yeah, you're forgetting that like
I was ready for
it
it.
came out in like '98.
Yeah, no, I figured it would be a good
Yeah,
stumper.
it's a good stumper. Yeah,
And they're a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
there's a
follow-up.
lot of one-hit wonders in there. For just that, for getting people out, because I know, like, if the music round goes too long, I want to end that fucking thing.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
How do you like it? How do you like it? You know that song?
How do you like it? How do you like
That
would've-
is also Len Steal My Sunshine. And if you played the right
Steal My-
part, I could go. I'm that high level that I can just hear it so fast. I would switch it up for that.
I would have destroyed that Ottawa neighborhoods question. I had neighborhoods for days.
So most people can't name this. It's actually an interesting. You would think that in a city that you've lived in your whole life, you could name more than 15 neighborhoods. Most people can't. Isn't that odd?
Yeah, it's crazy.
We've just broken off from Jelly Roll. But
No,
Yeah,
sorry.
well,
Go ahead.
fuck
Night the
Jelly
other day.
Roll.
No. If people want to understand why you just all of a sudden I know Ottawa neighborhoods, like
Yeah, okay, fine, we're done. Let's wrap it up.
what did I want to say? Rockcliffe. No one said Rockcliffe.
What an idiot. He wants
nah,
to cut it
don't.
off and then he
Fuck
goes
you,
right in.
man.
Manor Park.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Ledbury. Is that
Did you say Ledbury?
Did I
Because
say that?
that's not a neighborhood.
Mechanicsville? Would that have been a neighborhood?
It's Ludbury.
Hindenburg.
I don't think there is a Ludbury.
Yes, there is. It's a ghetto in Ottawa for sure.
Ludbury?
Yeah, or it's Ledbury. One of the other.
Overbrook.
Never heard of
Overbrook's a
Never
neighborhood.
heard
Where
of
you at?
Ledbury before. Nobody said Glaber Park. Nobody said McKellar Heights. Nobody said fucking Civic Hospital. Nobody said
That's
Kirkwood.
right, Civic Hospital.
Kirkwood. Nobody said Woodruff. Nobody said Bayshore. Nobody even went in that
Somebody
direction.
said
for
Bayshore on
fuck's
Friday.
sake.
I got Bayshore on Friday.
Anyways,
Another night. That's
anyways.
another night.
Chapel Hill North, Chapel Hill South, Jean d'Arc.
There's no Ludbury.
I didn't mind this
You're
podcast
thinking
at all.
about Sudbury.
I give it a
That's
2.5.
in a different city. I give it a 2.
I give it a 2. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back in time. Thank you to the Patreons and probably BetterHelp. Who the fuck knows? Kamar, name and a number.
Name and a number.
You know, we're listening to James Schellenberg, 2211. How else could you say that?
It's Michael.
Yeah, but James.
James Schellenberg.
And Schellenberger, isn't it?
I know him as James. But yeah, Michael Schellenberger.
No, what?
Investigative journalist.
Hold on a sec.
James Michael Schellenberger.
James Michael.
No, it's just Michael. I made that up. I wrote that down somewhere else for some other reason. I'm sorry, listeners.
No, that's fine. I just want to see how it's.
How else do you say
Schellenberger? Yeah.
2211? That's how you say it, right? Does that sound right?
2,211.
That's the only way you can say it. Or you say
Well,
2211.
how else do you want to say it?
2211.
You could say
Is 2211
212.1.
Is 2211 how they say numbers in French? Van
89. What do you
Be
mean?
even more confusing.
Yeah, how do they say that?
They say like 9.
No,
10.
they do. No, what they do is like 4.
2200.
No. His point is like 80 is 4.
20s.
It's 420. So you do like 4. Like 92 is 42012.
They say numbers and then give
That's
you the
how the
equation.
French tell you 86.
Yeah, it's like how my son told me time that day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
yeah.
20 to quarter to 12.
Yes, exactly.
yes. He
Like,
wanted to get detailed.
That is not how it works.
Breaking it down. Well, is it? But 2211.
No, it's not. It's 10-2, motherfucker. Like, enough of this.
Yeah, no. So
Don't make
French,
me
yeah.
do your math.
That's crazy. Hold on a second.
89.
89 and 99.
Yeah, so think about it. 80 is 4.
You know what?
Never thought
That's
about
hilarious. I never thought about
You
it
thought
before.
they're just words.
They were French words that I learned.
Yeah,
I never.
or numbers.
I didn't realize. Wow, that's insane.
Isn't that a weird way of doing
That's
things?
insane. So much has happened to me in the last like 18 hours. This
It
is
started.
crazy.
It starts at
What's my change for 2017?
what is? Doesn't it start at 14?
No.
That probably is how.
14 is a number.
That probably.
14. It starts at 15.
15, no.
No, and it starts at
Douze.
16.
16. No.
No, it's
No,
just
says
for.
17.
It's just for 8 and 9.
So says is the
It's just for 8 and 9.
No,
if we-
no. What he's saying is, think about it.
It's that
17
that's
is
the firmament.
Decet.
the firmament.
Set.
10-7.
Okay, never realized that either.
But
17
18 is
70.
No, says.
Says, yeah.
So 1 to 16 have their own numbers, and then the rest are a conglomeration of
1, 2, 3,
numbers.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
12,
13,
13, 15,
14,
16,
15, 16,
17, 18, 19,
he's nuts.
20. Oh, 20 has its own too. 20.
Here's a joke we just got here.
These nuts. That's hilarious.
And then even
I
then-
bet that is how they tell time.
And
They
then think
probably
about
do
it.
tell time. It's 10 to quarter to
Even
12.
then, we say 21, they say 20 and 1. 21.
I never put that together either.
21 and 20.
22.
Well, so
No, but they don't say they say 22.
Okay, so I guess it has its own. So there's some weird.
So
23.
23, 24.
But even
it's
then,
only 21 that you have
You're
to
right.
say.
Yeah.
And
29,
1.
30, 31.
It's always the same.
So the ones have their. That's
Yeah.
so weird.
They get an and everything else don't get no and. Don't ask why. This is like there's that great bit that Jelly Roll talks about with what's his name, Nate Bargatze, where he's talking about football trying to explain football to somebody. So like you play with your feet. Well, not really, but
Yeah.
sometimes. You didn't see that bit, Kamar? It's that same George Washington bit, and he's describing the game of football.
yes. Well, sometimes. No, never. Why? No
Well,
one knows.
It's football, but so you play with your feet. No, you play with your hands. Well, sometimes with your feet.
And why do you do that? No one will ask. No, it's brilliant. How would you say 2211 in French?
Like the number 2211?
It's 2211 or
21.
No, it's 2211.
That's what I said
Yeah.
in the first
fuck,
place.
that's hot, man. But do we break down at 12 in English?
1252.
You know what's interesting? The only
That's
what,
the
do you know
word.
what? Do you know what number is the first number that A appears in?
The first number that A appears in
Yeah.
would be 4.
11, 12.
Can you not spell?
13.
If I draw 4 like a
14,
No, I'm talking about spell
15,
the word
16,
for.
17, 18, 19.
F-O-U-R.
Yeah, does
Oh
it
my
have an A in
God.
it?
When does it
doesn't
first
have it.
appear? 40, 50, 100, 100, 200, 300, 400, 1,000. It's 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000. But back to my
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
back to my
1,000. And
back to my original query.
which was?
12. Then
Yeah.
it goes 13, 14, 15. Are those words, I guess, because the teens?
13. Does that mean anything?
Third.
You know what I mean? Like in
Third
French,
from-
that it all seems to mean something.
Treize.
13.
No, but 14 obviously has some 4. It's got 4 in there. And then
quatre?
you don't know what a
Well, it has
tours
quatre.
is,
It
but
just-
they obviously do. No, it has 4. That's 1, 2,
No.
3, 4.
Yeah, 14.
But that comes
the
from
beginning of it.
It
I'm
comes
just
from
saying,
4.
shut
It's
your
obviously from that.
Whatever.
Yes, it's got the roots.
13 is from 3.
Yeah.
12 is from 2.
What?
15.
We don't know what the second part is. We don't know the z, but they're all z's.
You know, there's a lot of
Goes to
Americans that
onze.
listen and they hate the French. So we can
is from
stop right now.
11.
1 à la 11.
à la
Ouais,
11.
2 à la 12.
I don't see 1 à la 11 though.
6 à la 16.
Yeah.
Mais 7, 17. That's just wild, man. It's fun.
You're wild.
18, 20.
These nuts, vine.
That's the joke. We just did
These
it.
reads, these nuts, don't worry.
So it's 2211.
Don't worry
Michael
about it.
Schellenberger.
Schellenberger. What do we think of this guy?
Start off, Elon is disrupting censorship in Brazil, and we believe in absolute free speech, right?
I just looked at your weird white light.
Well, don't stare at the light, weirdo.
See.
Is that our position? And whether we just get censored and what are we? Shadow banned as we are?
We're shadow
We're not
banned.
shadow banned.
Fighting the good
100% we're shadow banned.
No.
millionaire.
Thank you, Kamar.
Like even if it was hated,
Yeah.
even if it was
Yeah.
hated.
We should be the most hated
Well, that's what I meant to
podcast
talk
on
about.
the internet.
Jelly Roll.
yeah, I'll agree with that.
Jelly Roll was talking with Joe about David Lucas and Tony being one of the great. I don't think so.
not
I
true.
think they've
Not
peaked
even
and
close.
happened just compared to two bumper mics. But
Did you guys see Gavin McInnes go on that weird little Russian kids show? Is he Russian, Arabic?
Somebody was
American.
telling me about it.
He's American, sure, whatever.
did you watch Donnell?
And he got trolled by him. Is that
Well, the whole it's you get trolled by it.
yeah. Well,
Dude, at one point, well, first of all, I don't know if this is always the shtick, but there's a guy asleep on the floor. Is that always the
no,
shtick?
it's always different. Sometimes there's just a guy staring at you from the corner. Sometimes there's the guy looking through the curtains.
Okay.
Like,
Well,
I think everyone's getting trolled here. The viewer, the guest.
Dude, there's one point where the kid he has a fire extinguisher sitting on the floor, and he just picks it up and points it at Gavin, and Gavin's like, "Don't fucking do it." And he's like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Because then I'll fight you, and I'll have to go to jail, and you'll have to go to jail." And he's like, "But there's like 15 people right here." And he's like, "I guess I'm fighting everyone then." It's fucking.
that's so funny.
Oh, dude, it was
So what
hilarious.
happened on the rest of it? Was it just
There was
a
only
disaster,
there was only
or-
like 10 minutes after that. Like they do the whole interview, and then finally the kid like thumps it. The way he puts it on the table too, and it's the nozzle's pointed right at him. He's just like, "Don't fucking do it, dude." It's fucking great.
I don't know why anybody agrees to go on that
I can't
show.
figure it out.
Well, what
Like,
he
it-
was saying was before they had done 10 shows or whatever. They did 10 episodes
Okay.
of no
what?
one knowing what it was.
Okay.
Oh, so like people got involved. I understand.
There's
what
no
you're
way
saying.
that you know when they're putting this out. There's not like, again, following this chap that it's
Oh, I
weekly
see.
thing.
We assume
What he's saying
that
is like-
Gavin McInnes was yesterday, but it could be from 3 years ago.
No. Even what he's
Yeah.
saying is like you couldn't get had by Ali G right now.
Yes.
Right.
The
That's
shtick
what I'm
is
saying.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
But now it's big enough that it's a promotional thing.
I just always I always assume that it was like you go on Between Two Ferns and you know what you're getting.
I think
You
on
go
that one you
this
do.
show,
Do they
you
know?
you're get-
On Between Two Ferns, yeah.
Of course they know.
Do they?
It's like if you
Yes.
go on Jiminy Glick, you know. Did you ever
a
see
show
that
like Two
one?
Ferns was made a year ahead of time?
Between Two Ferns,
Yeah.
they know the
Well,
shtick.
what do you mean? You think that Brad Pitt doesn't know Zach Galifianakis?
He doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's like we're saying like
So
Jiminy
he would
Glick.
have had to record them all at once. 'Cause
Jiminy
the
Glick, I
second that
think,
they get
is-
out, every person knows what Between Two Ferns is.
Jiminy
so is
Glick,
that what you're
I
insinuating?
think is the most amazing.
Like Simon, remember Sacha Baron Cohen released that Made in America show?
Yeah.
Where he only did the one season?
Yeah.
Because again, you couldn't really redo those characters because now it was most people had seen it.
I mean, yes and no.
Dude, some of those characters were insane. The one that show
Dude, that was so funny. Remember the two guys who
The
hid
quinceañera?
in the quinceanera? That's my favorite, man. It's incredible.
I don't know that I've ever
It
laughed
can't
that
be
hard.
for real though, right? Like you rewatch it and you're like, this has got to be like a Nathan For You thing because
Dude, he convinces the restaurateur that he's eating human flesh, and the guy just rolls with it.
listen, fucking what's his name made somebody jump off a building
Yeah.
or push somebody off a building. Like,
Remember the luxury yacht salesman? He was like,
that one
he
is
was like,
dude,
let's say I'm exporting 50 children,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, you could definitely fit 50
and
kids.
I
down
want to
here.
make sure that nobody can hear them screaming. Yeah, well, this one's soundproof.
Yeah, what if they're migrants? Yeah, of course. Yeah. They also said that they went to the FBI with a bunch
Yeah.
of kid pedophile shit.
I think
after
it was that one.
Yeah, it was that show. Yeah.
No,
And
no, I think it was that.
I believe it was that one. Yeah. I think actually it was one that they didn't air. They said it was a private jet salesman or something like that.
Oh,
It was
yeah?
like, yeah. Kamar, what else you got? Sorry, we haven't even touched Schellenberger.
We've been all over him, man. Elon disrupting censorship in Brazil. Does that make sense what I just said? I felt like
They
the
want to
Balears.
ban Elon. Is that in Brazil where that's
I
happening?
think X as is banned right now,
No,
unless
I believe
he bans
it's
12 guys.
It's unbanned right now, I believe. What happened was, Simon, they had banned it for like a month because he didn't have legal they were doing it under the guise of he didn't have legal representation in Brazil. And now we find out that it's clearly because the government wanted them to silence certain people, which is wild.
And then he went into siblings of celebrities, like a Ronan Farrow. That's the most egregious one. because I don't think Trudeau is actually Castro's kid, but the pictures work.
Harry's pretty fucking egregious.
Harry,
What are you guys talking about?
Kids who aren't someone's
siblings
kid.
of celebrities. Jimmy Butler.
You didn't mean siblings. You meant child. Siblings is
siblings of celebrities. Yeah,
not
offspring.
siblings.
I meant
offspring.
offspring.
Yeah. Siblings is where you got fucked up. He's saying like we think Jimmy Butler and Ant could be Michael Jordan's kids, right? But we don't know for sure.
Yes, got you.
And
It
so I was
doesn't
saying
matter.
what I was saying was Prince Harry is a perfect example of that. Like
The-
you look
the
at
redhead child who looks nothing like anybody, but looks exactly
like the,
the
her
security
bodyguard,
guard,
exactly.
yeah.
The guy that
Yeah,
and then you look at his older brother who's bald as fuck, looks
yeah.
just
that
like
poor
his
guy.
dad.
Yeah,
that poor
yeah,
guy.
yeah,
that
yeah.
changes everything.
What do you mean?
Poor
That's
Harry.
why he doesn't want to be back with the family.
That's why, yeah,
and
he's
it's-
like, I'm not even really part of
he's
this
got
fucking
it.
family.
Well, and they murdered his mom. Like, come on.
Pretty ugly.
That's, gotta leave a stain on the whole
Allegedly.
relationship. Do we have to say allegedly?
You should always say allegedly. Cover
Okay,
it up.
allegedly.
Your
Yeah, I don't
people are
wanna-
very litigious. We
Not
should,
my people.
Sorry, you're old
I
people.
I don't want to go to war with the royals.
No, God, no. They got deep pockets.
I watch
The Royals.
enough Bridgehampton to know whatever that show is called.
Bridgehampton. That probably is what it's called.
My wife came out the other day and she said, so your transformation really is complete into a 13-year-old girl. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you were watching Alice in Wonderland this morning, the Tim Burton Alice in
Yeah.
Wonderland. Just put it on. I had never seen it. You know what I mean? But yeah, the older a man I become,
Yeah.
the more I'm transitioning into like a younger girl.
Oh, so you understand all these
Welcome
weird.
to
You
the
understand
party.
all these.
Well, I'm
so you're going to be in a
watching.
dress
I
in 2
never
years?
used to watch like Vanderpump, and you know what I mean.
Well, that's his fault.
No,
Yeah, no, the
I think
Vanderpump.
most of it is his fault.
no,
Probably.
you discovered Vanderpump.
no,
No,
Yes.
you discovered.
No, I think I did.
I think
yeah.
Simon
I think
did.
he's right.
I thought you came in and you were like, you guys have to watch it. This chick
he
Stassi.
had got it on me. He told me to watch it, maybe leaving here or something. Or we found it at the same time, but
It's so funny the way he said leaving here. I pictured that episode of The Sopranos. That episode of The Sopranos where Vito is blowing the security guard. I just picture Kamar like his head coming up from your car. He's like, "What was that show I should watch?" He's cleaning his mouth off. It's called Vanderpump. What?
no, I actually now that I think about it, I'm just like trying to put it off. And no, I don't watch those shows. It was totally Simon. It probably was me. I apologize, Simon.
That's all right.
But you're a 13-year-old girl.
That's it. No.
So what do you want for Christmas, Barbie?
He wants
all
a
good,
He
yeah.
wants the quinceanera
Yeah, I
he
do.
never had. Yeah,
I want my sweet 16. Never had my bar mitzvah. I at least deserve a sweet 16.
yeah, I agree with you.
So words are used in weird ways, and the idea of what was an example? Populism. Is populism like a bad thing, or is it negative connotation? It's just the idea.
Well, it sounds like a good thing. Populism.
but it's used sort of like the threat for democracy. Beware the rise of populism.
It's so funny that they keep telling us that we should beware of the threat of democracy while both sides try to rig elections in
Well,
like
we're not
legal
just
ways.
walk all over democracy with fucking boots with dire dog
it's
shit
crazy.
on them.
It feels like democracy is a threat to us. Ooh, that's a cool band name.
What are you, 16?
together, man.
Democracy is a threat to us. I mean, it's ironic because they were talking about. Remember last week I brought up how they were talking about rewriting the Constitution. I said it was a bad idea. I think the Constitution is great. I stand by that. I'm not saying, but even the founding fathers are like there should be a revolution every 50 years.
They said that?
Yeah.
Did they write it into the Constitution?
No, I don't think you can write that into the
They
Constitution.
should have.
Yeah, mistake number one.
Can they? Like, it would be like the purge.
I mean, really, like it,
Every 50 years, there's just for a week, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And after that, we'll see who's left. And that's where we go.
I mean, it just feels like in the early 1900s, we let like 6 people decide how the whole shit was going to go, despite how the founding fathers went, despite
100%. 100%.
like,
You can, I don't mean to harp on this, but you can clearly see, like, we can trace back the Rockefellers coming in, that whole group, and just molding America into exactly what they want it to be. Like,
yeah.
every couple of years.
they find the
realize
rules
they fuck it up.
that will help them and protect them, and they boycott the ones that don't. You know what I mean? Like they
I
get
actually- you
in
know what,
bed
Simon?
with all the right people.
I don't even think I think they at a point they stopped boycotting the ones they didn't like, and they just were like, "We'll change this from the inside." So like any legislation
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would hurt them,
Yep.
they were like, "Fine, pass it." In a year, we will have rewritten it and rejigged it to our advantage
You
in
know
any
what
way,
it
shape,
really
or form.
seems like is like, well, we're not going to compete against that company. We're just going to buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll become the boss, and then we'll tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think about it like the Standards and Poor's thing. You know, like it's a great idea to have a watchdog in place to make sure that people that are trading stocks aren't robbing regular Americans blind. And then you find out down the road that it's like, oh, they're all funded by these same massive companies, and they're not watching anyone, and that no one ever goes to jail for it. And that's all by design. You know what I mean? That's all by design.
Industry capture.
well, and think about it too. Like right around the time when the Rockefellers are coming in and molding America the way they want it, like so many other things are happening at the same time. And you're like, okay, well, just a lot of things are happening at the same time. But it's not. It's all just arms of this same group. Like I don't even think it's like we say Rockefeller, like they're this family that orchestra. It's whatever that group of people is. You know what I mean? Because it's way more than the Rockefellers.
No, it's J. Paul
into
Getty.
It was into the mob
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the mafia. It was into the CIA. Like, which is why it's so funny when they say like, who killed JFK? Well, everybody did. Like. And we're not joking when we say that. When we mean everybody, we mean this group who is everybody. That's who killed JFK. Do you think it was the mob? Yeah, it was the mob. Do you think it was the CIA? Yeah, it was the CIA. Do you think it was fucking whoever owns NASA or runs whatever? Yeah, it was him too, because those guys are all part of the same crew that we're talking about right now.
Kamar, am I crazy? Or was Nancy Pelosi around?
Mick Jagger.
Was Nancy Pelosi around JFK?
I think he might have had sex with her.
She was probably an intern at that point.
No, I think she was very, very young,
Yeah,
but I
she
believe
must
she
have
was.
been.
Am I crazy?
Really? I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Someone pull that up. We don't have a Jamie, and I'm rolling a joint, so it ain't gonna happen. But I thought I remember seeing something about Pelosi being like within arm's length of JFK. I hope someone's looking it up, or else this is dead air for fucking sweet fuck.
Yeah,
all.
she met him in 1961 after his inauguration. She was a student, Nancy Pelosi, meeting President John F. Kennedy after his inauguration.
Okay,
in
that's
1961.
not as nefarious as
Well, no, but now they're running the same circles, so you just there's a bit of smoke there.
All,
Might not be
all I'm
fire.
saying is this is what we learned in this episode from Schellenberger was that like they won't release any JFK related anything because there's still people alive that were involved.
Interesting. And she's alive.
Well, I just, where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
No, where there's JFK, there's people getting fucked.
Yeah.
But whatever, it was a different time. He brought up the idea. His ideas and stuff they talked about really ran a through line with Kaylee and Casey. But I did not know that the increase in C-sections, there's something with immunity that if you go through C-section, you don't get it or something. And they
Vaginal birth, you're saying you need.
versus a vaginal birth, they notice a increase in it. And while my uncle was offended by something she said before, he did agree with that. So,
Yeah, kids
There-
should be
there is
born
that.
through the vagina.
well, they should be, but he said now there's been an increase in midwives. Is it? I think it's a person just you have the baby with, and if you need a doctor, but you can just do it at home.
But the
people
midwives
did do it.
don't cut you open to give you a cesarean.
No, they
You
cannot.
are in a hospital
They
to
cannot
do
do that. But people didn't want to go to hospital, so there's more midwives. Hopefully, people are having natural birth that way. Whatever, you know what I mean. But not having natural birth is detrimental to the kid in some way.
Well, there's like some weird thing that like a human baby is meant to be born in water. And human babies have this thing. I was just listening to this the other day.
Perfect.
Like, their Nirvana cover. Mm-hmm. So when you have a baby in water, that baby will swim to the top,
Yeah,
but
and
it
flip
won't
upside down.
take its first breath until it's outside of the water. Like it has some mechanism inside.
Well, it lives 9 months submerged in some sort of liquid.
Okay.
Well, does it not?
I don't know. Yeah. In a
Yeah.
amniotic sac though. So
Yeah, but my point is like it spends its first 9 months breathing through a tube in its fucking belly button, submerged in some
Anyways, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't take its first breath underwater. When you think you're coming into the air for the first time, all you want to do is take a breath. But it's like it's built into it like a fish to not breathe until it gets up top.
I do always find it weird though when people are like, yeah, no, we had the kid upstairs in the bathroom in the tub. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, this seems more like a kind of like a pool situation.
Yeah, either way.
I mean? Tub is a little close quarters. Like, shit happens during those pregnancies. And when I say shit, I mean shit.
Yeah.
They shit.
Thank you,
so
Simon.
Be ready for anything because you never know what you're going to
They're
get.
pushing. Shit's happening.
Things happening.
But this is a verse to C-section, which something the kid doesn't get.
Well, and also it can be very
about that.
dangerous for the woman. You're having like surgery.
Yes. Oh, you're going under probably.
No,
Well,
not probably.
I don't know if they put you under.
I think they
do
might just put a thing there. I
Are you
because
fucking kidding me?
I don't know if you can go under while you're giving birth.
Oh, you might be right, but I just don't.
And it might be horrible for the baby. I don't think they do go under.
We
I
all
don't
agree
know.
going under,
maybe
even though
they
it's
do.
dangerous, is the best surgery.
Well,
It's like going on vacation versus being there when it happens.
I mean, it seems really great, but I think that if you know what, I don't.
Yeah, listen, if you can avoid it, you can die
you-
from it.
you try and
That's-
avoid it.
That's why the anesthesiologist is the highest paid person in the hospital because they literally have your life in your hands. I mean, they're putting you as close to death
And then monitoring
as
you while
humanly
you're there.
possible. Yeah.
The weirdest thing my stepfather said is when he cut off his fingers,
Jesus. Yeah.
he said it didn't hurt.
I bet that's shock.
Oh, of course it's shock,
Yeah.
but it's still like it didn't. He's like, no, there was no pain. I'm like, no, but you looked at it. It's like I mean, whatever the body did. Of course, when they put a bandage on it and weeks later, it really hurt. Of course,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in the moment, the whole body or brain went together. Shut that down. Shut that. Things are bad right now. They don't need to
Well,
feel that.
it's weird when people have phantom pains too. Like my
when your limb is
grandmother got
gone.
her leg
Yeah.
taken later in life, and she would like complain all the time about like a pain in her foot.
The department, they didn't shut down the department. They're still up there
That's-
thinking they're doing work and stuff.
It's shit, you know, the body doesn't know how to deal with it. I don't know.
Kamar, I saw a video the other day of this dude. He's on a dirt bike, just ripping down like a trail, and his buddy's in front of him. And he kind of like catches some leaves and ends up like just off the side of the trail, but like barely, like just off the side of the trail, and then quickly hops back on. But you see him like as he kind of catches the edge of the trail, you can see that he like hits a branch or something, and he's got a GoPro on, and he looks down, and there's a fucking, I don't know, a 5-foot like stick through his foot, like right, and he, no reaction from him. You just see him keep looking down, but like there's audio, and I just think that sometimes the brain is.
You assume you just be.
Oh my god! Yeah, for sure. A fucking stick through my.
You don't
foot?
want to know how you react to something like that, but it'll surprise you every time. So then they got into drugs, legalization of drugs, and Joe pulled out a great analogy, which is if you legalize drugs, more access, more addicts. That's the pushback.
Yeah.
And that was what Michael was saying. But Joe said you can gamble your house away,
Yeah,
like, and that's just as bad.
yeah.
Well, and you can drink your house away. Like with it's a little.
There's also an argument to be made. You could use cigarettes as an example of like we've curbed that addiction as a society. Not totally. There's still people that smoke, but it's the level of smoking is nowhere near what it was 40
Young people
years ago.
don't smoke.
Well, it's back now with the whole vaping. Like, I bet if you add on the vape and this, it's all balanced back out. But I agree, there was a time where it was so part of culture, it went away, and now it's come back in a
It
different.
found
form.
itself weight because I remember we were talking about this weekend or yesterday. We used to go to bars and you could smoke.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Pantera at the building that I now work at, and smoking beer and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes inside the building.
Dude, I remember like my first time going to Babylon. Nat Soul had was pouring drinks with a lit cigarette in her mouth, and like I remember you had to empty out the ashtrays like every fucking 2
And
minutes.
bars were packed to a sane level.
Yeah.
And then when the smoking ban came in, I felt they never got packed again because half the bar would always be outside smoking.
Interesting.
And it made it more bearable, but I don't know. That's just my own thing. But
My favorite was all the loopholes. That's what we were talking about the other day. 'Cause someone asked me, they were like, "You're old enough. Like, do you remember smoking in bars?" And I was like, "I was on the cusp." But like, I remember like the New Den. They had like the sweet loophole where you paid $1 a year to be a member.
yep.
And so they let you smoke like fucking 7 years after the ban was in effect.
Yeah, and then we were fighting for this.
Yeah.
Fighting for this right to, and it's so unless you have even with the best air system, it still just stinks.
My favorite was you'd go to like a classy restaurant and
The smoking
half
section.
would be, where the families are. And then there'd be like either a wall,
Partition.
half wall,
Half
or
wall,
sometimes just like a lanyard, whatever they're called. Strand, what are those called?
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. Like the velvet rope.
The velvet rope.
Yeah.
Whatever those are called. And then the other side is the fucking smoking section. It was insane. Mm-hmm. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still like, when I'm in Vegas and you're in the airport and they still have the smoking bubble, like I'm like, this makes sense to me. Like, why can't there just be a well ventilated room in an airport where you can smoke? It doesn't make sense. Throw a
You can
couple
zin
slot
it up.
machines in there.
Zin it up.
No, that's stupid.
Zin, we can just do so much more Zin than cigarettes. I think it's a windfall for the tobacco companies. It's good for them. They've had a tough go.
But back to legalizing, I don't know what we're still doing talking about it. Not us, the world.
Well, but the policy Michael brought up was you get an overdose, everyone runs your help and saves you.
Yeah, and the second time you have the
If you have it
choice.
again,
Jail.
you die,
or-
jail or rehab. That seems totally reasonable.
I agree. I also think though, like right away, if you legalize drugs, you take away one of the most violent groups on earth, or you at least cut them off at the knees.
The most powerful group on earth, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. You might be right. You're probably right, if you want to be honest. So you take a little bit of their power away, and you know what's crazy is you can even go and sit down with them.
They would shift. I don't even think
No.
it would happen, but it would
This,
change.
but this is the thing. If I'm the U.S. government, I sit down with them and I say, listen, you guys have made so much money already that you can legitimately invest in our country and you will be taken care of forever. You don't need to be violent. You don't need to be chopping off heads. You can make this country incredible. Mexico could be great. You guys have the power to do it. You don't need to be killing people. We'll buy the cocaine off you legally now.
It'll help you take over the oil refinery, whatever.
This is what I'm saying. Like you can go. I know it sounds weird sitting at the table with these.
If
With
there's less money,
all
when
I'm
when
saying
it's a war.
is
Money's in war.
If you tax all this money and it doesn't go to the cartel, you can put so many. First of all, you dump it all into education. The second you dump it all into education, the next generation of kids are going to be well educated, and most of them won't be drug addicts. Doesn't matter if they grew up in a single family home. Education is fucking key. We can do that. Also, then you can dump a lot of money into programs. Like right now, we sap all of our taxpayer dollars into fucking helping junkies, and we're not doing anything. We're not helping anyone. But if people are educated and we have all this extra money that we're getting from fucking cocaine sales and heroin sales.
And you said it seems weird to be working with the cartels, you know what I mean? But if you look back in history, like that would happen all the time. One group would take over another group, right?
First off, we act
And
like
then
the U.S.
that
government.
group would make a deal with another country. Like that's how shit got done.
Listen, think about it like this. If, like in our country, we have a huge problem with overdoses, and that's mainly due to fentanyl spiked drugs. So if we start selling heroin clean, right away, we're saving our country a huge amount of money because we have fucking public health care. So all these junkies that are now sapping the system.
And just like you said, you make it legal, but then you make the fines for breaking the rules that you find important very heavy, meaning like here weed is legal.
Yeah.
But now if you get caught smoking weed and driving, you're going to get a serious...
It's a DUI. You might as well be fucking wasted. You're better off being 3 sheets to the wind.
No. But this is what I mean. So like something I may have done before legalization.
Yeah, you're not gonna do
I would
now.
never do now. Why? What's your smile all about? What's going on over there?
You're going like this again. 2, 12, 20. The dues, man. Like, where's the van even come from?
Dude, we have been talking for like
Where does
an
25
hour
minutes,
and
at
he's
least.
gone back.
Where
to
does the
the-
van come from?
Sorry. Okay. I wanna work with you here. What are you talking about?
No, don't give him this. We're
No,
on the
because
fucking legalizing of drugs. You're going back to
2,
2,
12,
de, douze,
2,
20.
20.
But that's not the number.
It should
De,
be
douze, 20.
It should be doobies.
Then why do we have 20? Why aren't you worried about 20? Why
What's
is
the-
20 not weird to you?
What
20.
What year are
It
you
has
trying
the
to get?
12 and the 2.
Okay.
2012? Is that what
Stop.
you're trying
No,
to say?
why are you doing this?
7, 10.
We're talking about something
8,
else.
10,
Why would you let him
9,
railroad
10.
a conversation
Okay,
like this?
anyways, yeah.
Have you been doing a podcast for 6 years? You sat there laughing at your own fucking shit?
And he asked me,
Back to drug
Oh,
reform.
fuck.
What was I saying?
I digress.
See, he got what he wanted. He was like, I'm done with
Okay,
this
just
conversation.
make
other
I'm going to
cartels.
derail it.
Well,
See?
Move on.
He echoed the same sentiment as the Cayley siblings.
Great, Kamar. Everyone wants Trump. Trump is the
No,
best.
no,
We
no,
get
no,
it.
no, no. Keep the population sick so you can take care of it. So that, I mean, that's what they're doing on the farm aid, and there's because the more money they put into opioids, it's going up. Just like the movies was 10 years ago. Right now, we're supposed to be in the remember 10 years ago when we had an opioid crisis, but we're still in the middle of the crisis. The same way the cartels are as bad as they've ever been. We talk about, but nothing happens at all. But money's poured into it, and it gets worse. Homelessness. The more money you spend on the homeless population, the more it grows.
You know how I always heard this, and I'm sure it's a old wives' tale, that you could go to any pharmacy in Mexico and buy whatever you wanted.
Pretty much.
Like
That's not a wives' tale. Most drugs are
all legal
most drugs are
all drugs that are made
decriminalized there.
legally, but not. It's the difference between prescription and just getting it yourself.
But like not heroin. You can't go and get, but you can get oxy.
You understand?
you can just walk into. Are you sure? Wouldn't that
Self-prescribed.
So isn't that just like a recipe for disaster? Then how could you ever have it not come over the border?
Even if the cartels aren't there, just the
Yeah,
individual
fuck
will
the
bring over.
fuck the cartels. If
But
you're
Simon,
just,
couldn't you argue that marijuana is legal here and that any state in the U.S. you could just easily bring it? Right? Isn't that
you
the same
can't
argument?
easily bring it over. It's a lot easier to bring
And weed might be
pills
illegal in
over
Mexico
than it
for all
is
I
to
know.
bring
Well, Google it. Is weed
weed
legal?
over.
It's funny because they brought up social.
Weed isn't legal in Mexico, is it?
It might be. I don't know.
don't
He's
think
about
it
to
is.
find out. That's why he's Googling it. They were talking about socialism for a minute, and Joe was talking about how the fire department is socialized. Certain things in the States are socialized, and no one blinks an eye at it.
Yeah.
I always go back to sports because it's so funny that, like, the reason sports work so well in North America is because they are socialized. You did terribly this year. We're going to give you the first round draft pick. Make sure that next year and keep in mind, it's also socialized because it's like you have a choice. We're not giving you the best player. You get to pick. You could take the guy you could go for Mahomes, who's number 17, or you can take number 1. What's funny?
My
20, 21. Is it 22? Maybe it's 23.
my cousin is a nurse, and they were just talking about firefighters work 66 days a year, and they're saying it's the most ridiculous job anyone's ever had. Like when things go really bad, all of a sudden being a firefighter is a horrible job. But for the most, even your career,
Hold on. Who said that? Some nurse you know?
and nurse, yeah.
And you just believe that firefighters work 66 days a year?
Well, no,
We know it's time on and time off. So
they
it's
work
only gonna be
24.
a
They
certain
work
amount.
24 hours. Like
No, they don't.
They work for like 4 days and then they're off for like 7 or whatever. it
you
is.
work one day,
Shift
you
work.
work
There's
8.
3 shifts. What are you talking about?
They can work 24 hours where they're sleeping there at the station. Like, I have total respect for firefighters. He was just pointing out it is a really cush job until it isn't. Right? You clean the firehouse, you make meals, and
Hold on.
you go to overdoses and fires.
So if I told you that a crab fisherman only worked 50 days a year, is that like a cushy job?
I guess if you were to fight fires for those 66 days a year, that'd be the most insane job. I thought before they started going on about it, how it's like,
Would you rather fight fires or go to junkie calls?
I think I'd rather be a firefighter just because it seems like a heroic job.
Both of them are crazy, but it does seem like EMT just on a regular basis, you would have to deal with more life or death situations.
And the nurses just have a shitty, their jobs suck because they don't have a downtime. They're always just, you know what I mean? And for what they're getting paid, I think cop is the worst. I think these are all civil servants, right?
Because cop is the only one where somebody is like actively trying to kill you at your job.
You could be coming across that, and you have to tell people bad news. Firefighters fight a fire bad. A nurse overdose 14-year-old girl on fentanyl from a party dies in your
Well, a nurse
hands.
is different because a nurse is the outcome of all those other things, right? Fire, police, but they end up at the nurse.
Not always.
No, yeah, okay.
I'm just saying police can deal with 10 calls a night that never end up
those
at
first
injuries
responders.
end up at the nurse.
I was going to say first responders is important, Kumar, because that's what firefighters are. It's not just fighting fires. They have to show up for all sorts of fucking bullshit.
But why did you take this pot shot at the firemen in the first place?
My cousin did, and I was just thinking about it as like because you put your life on the line, you're rewarded. You get a pension, like you.
Go on.
It's the easiest of the civil servant jobs.
You think being a fireman is the easiest of the civil
That's what
servant jobs?
we're just having here. Yeah,
like more than a postman.
postmen. Do they make $150,000 a year?
Do firemen?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, it's a great job. And
Base level.
firemen are heroes.
Whoa, geez.
No, but where are we going with this?
Base
Otherwise?
level firemen make $150,000 a year.
Sure.
Base police don't make $150,000.
I think they make 120 a year.
So I'm just curious, though. I get what you're saying, because it does say here that some work 24-hour shifts where, yeah, they're sleeping at the station. But it says that a typical firefighter works 56 hours a week. So how are you working that out to 66
But a
days?
lot of that work is keeping the fire station up to snuff. As you would-
Washing the trucks,
If you're
doing
working at a
the-
bar, you're cleaning up the bar. Like that's not hard. That's taking pride in your work. That's fun. That's the good part of it. I know firefighters.
I'm just saying, you were like, they only work 66 days a year, cushy job. And I'm telling you that on average, they work 56 hours a week. So if you were working 56 hours a week, would you consider that a cushy job?
Yeah, but if you're only working 7 weeks out of the year.
But you're not working 7
No,
weeks.
it's broken down. It's like a.
That's not how it works.
You get paid when you're sleeping there. I think that's what the one thing that we all don't get is to get paid when we sleep.
Sure.
But you have to wake up in the middle of sleep and save people's life. That's great. I love firemen. I know firemen. They're my friends.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're talking shit.
My cousin is jealous that he didn't become a fireman. That's all I can surmise.
I think to become a firefighter is a lot more work than people give credit to. And from watching those dudes beside Ward, they're out. I don't think there's a lot of sleep.
Every day it goes out.
Every 20 minutes, there's a truck leaving that fucking
pulled a fire alarm or something.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's always like life and death, but those guys are taking the truck out every 20 minutes on average, 100%.
And they get great pensions. It's an amazing job. They're rewarded well.
As they should be.
I think the cop is the worst.
Keep in mind, I think nurses should be rewarded well. I think doctors should be rewarded well. I think cops should be rewarded well.
Trust the experts.
I also think all of them should be trained well. And this is coming from someone who's not trained or paid well for either.
What about assisted suicide?
2012. That's how you would say
who
that.
cares?
I'm just saying 2012.
Nice.
Yeah,
Who
that's
gives a
easy.
shit?
That's easy.
No, that's how the brain
retards.
works.
That's how it works.
Assisted suicide
Who cares?
We went through this last week.
has the same problem of I need my job.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Has
that's
the
what they raise it
same
as.
problem as I need my job. What does that mean?
If no one wants to need assisted suicide, then that's great.
Okay, hold on. Let's say there's 3 countries on earth that offer assisted suicide, and our country is one of them. Let's say there's 2 clinics in our country that offer them. They don't have to sell the product. There's enough people. There's 8 billion people on earth.
We hope.
No, it's not. I don't have to hope.
He brought up it seemed like she was trying to sell her services.
Well, okay, that's anecdotal and hearsay.
That's the only
I get
example
it.
I brought this up. I couldn't have brought it up without it.
All I'm saying is,
I mean,
even the number. Hold on, 13,000 people. Joe did this weird thing. You can't have it both ways. When 13,000 people died of COVID, it was an insanely small number. When 13,000 people want to die because they're depressed or terminally ill or whatever, it's a low number or a high number. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think it's a high number because it's voluntary, where the other 13,000 wasn't just life happens.
Yeah, but like how many people, if there's 400
No
million.
one had, those 13,000 had no control. These 13,000 had. And I think it's other people grasp why someone could be that depressed. That could be naivete on Joe's part.
How many of those people were actually depressed? And that, like,
I'm hoping they're paraplegics.
nobody's signing up on that. For sure,
They're
it was. It was
paraplegics
all
or- I
reasons.
I assume most people are terminal.
Degenerative
Yeah,
diseases.
that's not at all what he was totally misrepresenting.
And let me go.
But all industries have industry capture.
Yes, we would
This one we're saying, although everything else is captured, this won't be. That's what you guys
wait,
are saying.
We would very much hope
That's
that
what I-
some legislation would be put in place right now, not like AI, not looking back later, right now, that limits any sort of advertising for this.
But hold on,
segment
wait. I just want to
capitalism.
I just want to say, like, you talk about advertising like it's this insidious thing. Like if Kamar is 85 and he's terminally ill and he's like, he might not be aware that this exists. And so an ad, I'm not talking about like a distasteful ad, but there's nothing wrong with an ad that's like, this service is available.
No, his
Should you be
doctor
terminal?
will tell him if that's the case.
No, okay.
What about the people that don't have GPs? Like,
Then when you go to the clinic, you're gonna see a doctor at some point. You're gonna have to go to this
What
clinic.
about issue
So-
because it's publicly funded? So you got to keep your budget up. Could that be the danger? We know that old story.
okay, but I'll go back to it. Just let's stop for a second. They don't have assisted suicide in the States. Okay.
I don't think so. No.
So there's 400 million people that are within a drive or a short flight that, should they need it, could get assisted suicide.
We'll pay for it.
Out of 400 million people, I have to assume, and it's a dark thing, but I have to assume right now there's 15,000 terminally ill people in the States.
And you think it's a good place, that there's a place of compassion that they could possibly come?
I do, yeah.
If they're, oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Listen, I don't like the idea of someone being. Depression is a weird one. I don't think you should kill yourself if you're depressed.
No, I don't know if that's even an option on the
I don't
table.
either.
It was. We have discussed this. It was.
I mean, again, Simon, I actually, hold on.
It was on the table.
Listen, at the end of
What
the, I don't care, to be honest. I don't think it's right, but I think you are, like, what is freedom? Like, if we're going to sit here and say we all want to be free, you're free, but if you have to stay here and you better be free and enjoy it. Like, if you want to end it because you're really not enjoying this, because you have no family, you have no friends, there's nothing, you don't see anything on the horizon. In my personal opinion, I think there are ways out of that. And I think you should explore all those avenues before taking your own life. But who the fuck am I to say you should stay here and stick it out?
Well, if you're, who are you to say that there should, or who's anybody to say that there should be rules about when you can drive a car?
Well, but we've all sort of agreed.
Well, yeah, okay.
Well, no, but that's something that we've all agreed, like, as a group. We're like, we probably shouldn't let people drive until they're X age. And even then it should be somewhat graduated. Like, we have those systems in place. I'm just saying, what do you care if someone wants to end their own life?
Whatever it is, it's the same thing in Joe.
Yeah, I get it.
I am.
Well, then again, what do you care if somebody wants to change their sex?
Exactly.
I don't.
What do you care if a child wants to change their
Yep.
sex?
It
Well,
goes
that's
everywhere.
different.
It goes everywhere.
Because, like, if a child was like, I'm depressed, I want to go and have
No way
assisted suicide, we're all against
We're
that.
all against
You
it.
have to
So
be
take
18.
the children out.
Of course, the children are always not included in this. We're
Weird
talking
guy.
about free-willed adults. This is what I'm talking about.
No, I guess you're right. Like, who are if
It seems more
who are
civilized
we to
than
say?
the alternative of just jumping off a bridge and somebody who didn't do anything wrong find you.
and the whole suicide thing, like,
We act like it doesn't happen.
why do we have distaste for it? Is it because of a religious reason?
No, it's because it almost always involves. You might not know someone who's died of suicide. I might not know someone that someone loves is taking their own life, and we all feel like if someone you knew committed suicide, you would feel in your heart of hearts like, I could have helped them. I would have helped them. I would have been there.
I'm just saying, at the end, if that person takes their own life, they obviously hated life here enough.
That's what I'm-
No, the
to
problem
do
is if they're
that.
doing better than you or worse than you.
But if that person is sick and you don't know that they're sick and they're making decisions that they wouldn't make under a clear mind. Maybe because of that depression, like that's where things get
could happen to you.
cloudy. You know what I mean?
Simon, I said I didn't love it. Those are the first words out of my mouth. I didn't love it because I know that depression is something that can be overcome.
But it would be super easy. Now, you don't like any sort of regulation, apparently, but it would be super easy to say this is for people who have a terminal disease. That terminal disease is qualified by the experts. It's not a we think you may have depression or we think you may, you know what I mean? It's not a psychiatric thing. It's a physical thing. You have this, you're going to die. Those people, why would we take that away from them? All we need to do, like, it doesn't have to be for everybody. The same way driving isn't for everybody. It's for you when you become 16.
Sure, but Simon, my problem is like you could not be terminal, but you could be in a position in your life where you are in so much excruciating pain that you no longer want to do this.
Okay,
right?
you know what? But this is my point from last week, is that nobody is stopping you from doing that. You can't use this service to do it, Matt. But if you really want off the planet, there's 1,000,001 ways for you to do it.
It's not. It's if you fail at suicide, that's a criminal charge.
And because that guy who's trying to sell those people the stuff is going to jail.
All I'm
is what I'm saying,
saying
like-
is if you hate this place enough,
Yeah, what you're saying.
you not being able to get the assisted suicide isn't going to stop you from doing it.
But
what you're
it's about is that infringing on your rights?
What you're saying is, I don't care that you're human. If you really want to go, you have to do it in an inhumane way.
I don't think you have to. Hold on a second. If you take enough, pick the
You don't know what
opiate-
you don't know what that feels like. You have no idea.
You're right. You don't know what that feels like.
I'm just saying ODing might be the worst feeling on earth.
Nobody can tell you.
Yeah.
ODing might be the worst feeling on earth for sure.
Or it might be enlightening. We don't know. Like, that's the thing. I haven't OD'd.
I think it's the best.
But I think people have come pretty close and come back, and they could probably tell you what the beginning part felt like.
I bet. Yeah.
Maybe the coming back is a drag.
I think not wanting to go all of a sudden, like that moment someone steps off a bridge.
Jumping off, and you get
I didn't
forced
want to do
over.
that.
I just go back to
Someone-
Joe. Joe is like big on freedoms and individual freedoms, and I don't see why someone of sound mind and body saying, I've had enough of this and I just want to go peacefully and quietly and I'm willing to pay money to do it.
Yeah, and listen, this is coming from a person who wants some rules, but wants as little government involvement as well. But you still have rules. Like, there are still things we all abide by. That's all I'm saying. So you make concessions all over the place
Sure.
for your freedoms. That's all I'm saying. Like, I need this freedom here, but I'm willing to concede.
But you just said
concede to
you
this
just said
freedom over here.
just said yourself, there's absolutely nothing stopping any human being at any time from just killing themselves. So if that's always an option on the table, why are we not just offering it in a humane way? That's all I'm saying. Your point remains. If I want to kill myself, I'm going to do it. It's done. I could take any amount of household products and just drink them and fucking end my like.
I guess because we're not sure that if you're taking is that because you're genuinely sad, or has a sickness taken you? It would be like somebody gets the flu and says, well, just off me because I feel so terrible. But we know that you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
We wouldn't let you off yourself because of the flu. So if this is the same kind of thing, that's why there have to be some restrictions to this. It can't just be a free-for-all. And look, I'm saying, like, maybe you make it a free-for-all to a point, which should satisfy a lot of people.
Listen,
you know?
either way, I go back to it. There's 36 million people in this country. 13,000 people used the service. When it was COVID, 13,000
Yeah.
was an incredibly low number. When it's assisted suicide, 13,000 is an incredibly high number. You can't have it both ways.
And I'm telling you, of those 13,000 people, this is without me checking.
I bet
I
most of
would
them
be
were terminal.
surprised if one of them was a depressive case. One, Matt. I don't think that's what the Canadian government is doing here.
It was on the table. We okay. Well,
But on the table is different. That could mean that someone who was depressed applied, went in, and was denied the service.
By
No,
the
well-
group of doctors who make the decision, or
no,
however the
it's
fuck
the
this
criteria
works.
for it. You know, if you are paraplegic, sure. If you all sides are, as long as you're of sound mind, of course, whatever the list is, and depression wasn't on, it was to be debated later. He said one of the problems that makes us depressed is too many choices.
That was so interesting.
Well, it makes China seem like the place to be. If you don't know any better and everything's taken care of, and you just live your life, you know what I mean?
My wife and I were talking just yesterday about like when we were kids, you hardly had any choices. You know what I mean? You just did what you did. You didn't know what anybody else was doing. You had no idea. Like you couldn't say I'm going to stay home and play on the computer because the computer didn't exist. You know, none of those things were there to like, I mean, I guess you could say to aid you. I'm going to probably think to hold you back. Like, I really think that I know we're going to come up with a million good things about it. You know what I mean? Everybody's connected now. I bet if we go back, we were better off without it. We'll never know because we can't rewrite history, you know?
Well, I just think it's an unfair comparison because like the era he was talking about where he was like, my dad had less choices and was more happy. I think you're a lot more happy when you leave high school and are like, whatever job I get will allow me to eventually have a home and a car and raise a family. Hold on. I think that is fucking huge. And I think a lot of people now, I don't think there's any 19-year-old in the world that like fresh out of high school is thinking, I'm going to confidently be able to own a home and have a car and raise a 2-child family. I don't think that exists anymore. And I think that it's tough. I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying. Very possibly that's it. When you compound on this, I think I don't know, man. It's tough. It's fucking tough. Like, think about it.
I think especially for dating.
When we were young, we probably all had a little dream of like, oh, I'm going to make it so that I can give my parents a nice house and let them retire.
Take my guys out on guys' night and buy them dinner.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. And kids now, I don't think are ever, they're like, my parents are going to have to take care of me. Like, they're going to have to leave me something or I'm never going to fucking make it. And that's a weird change of...
Someone has failed somewhere along the economic growth chain because TVs are amazing and cheap.
But that's not how they equate it, right? It's like, what iPhone are we on? 15? Well, we're doing amazing then, right? There's 15 iterations of the iPhone. We can't stop but progress. Like, and meanwhile, nothing really changes. Like they say, virtual reality. They've been promising us one form of virtual reality since I was a kid.
You can't say nothing's changing. Like
nothing's
change happens slowly. No, like think about stem cells. Like 20 years ago, you were going under the knife, and now Joe tells everyone that comes in, he's like, "Do not go under the knife. I'll send you to my guy Brigham." And all of them are like, "Hey, guess what? I didn't go under the knife." Change is very slow. When you look back 30 years, it's very easy to see it. But I think I know you're very anti-internet and social media, and I agree with you.
I think we can clearly see as a people that this has gotten wildly out of control. The world, you know what I mean? Yeah. And if you go back 20, 30 years, this sounds so crazy. I am my father.
Yeah.
But anyways, if you go back 30 years, like they're just, but the problems seemed overcomable, I guess. And now it's like completely out of hand.
But if podcasts existed in the 30s and moving forward, I'm sure you would be able to go back and find a podcast of someone in 1932.
There's these two brothers in a field with a bicycle and some pallets.
Yep.
And the guy thinks he's gonna fly.
I mean, like Simon, like let's take where we are in the world right now and look. Like we could be on the brink of World War III. Not the first time this has happened.
Nope.
Right? Like there were people in the 40s that were like, holy shit's really warming up in Germany right now. And it looks like we might, and we could just be, and again, that might've been a good time to look back at it. And people might've been like, fuck man, the world's really topsy-turvy right now. They did get through it, but we also know that, did we get through it?
Right. So you're saying without the internet, we wouldn't even know that we're being enslaved by the Rockefellers. We would just be going along. And that may be true. And you know what, Matt? Maybe eating the steak is better than not eating the steak.
Maybe.
Like if you never know you're living in the Matrix and the Matrix is awesome, then who fucking cares? Like, what are we doing here? Because you're not like actually, you personally, you're not striving to break out of the Matrix. Like that's not a thing that,
Andrew Tate is.
I mean, I guess. And maybe that's what people who meditate are doing, right? They're just like, I hope that one of these times that I meditate, I'm just like,
get out of here.
I'm never coming back, you know?
Ask Kamar. He's deep into meditation.
Well, you were for like a week.
I remember that time.
Did you ever break away?
Tranquility.
Dude, that was the most insufferable Kamar I've ever experienced.
I was just trying to say
Kamar.
things, get the ideas.
Fucking. It's
Coke
like
magic.
that guy who was like, "Don't talk about what you're doing, just do it." You spent
Did the opposite.
You spent the whole week.
Don't do what you're doing. Just talk about
I
it.
wish I'd done it as much as I talk about it. He mentioned as a suggestion teaching self-reliance.
Yeah,
Moving forward, there's a tendency to like solve the problem for the thing or the person or whatever, and whenever someone is put in a situation where they have to overcome something, learn something new, they always come out for better. I mean, unless they die, and then maybe it was too hard a task, but just you gotta let people struggle.
I was watching Love is Blind and the guy didn't know how to boil water.
what?
And you're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, are we really living in a world where kids are growing up not knowing how to boil water?
Dude, I saw a life hack the other day where I was like, "Are you fucking stupid?" Like it was like, if you just fill a water bottle up halfway and leave it on its side in the freezer, you have a perfectly half frozen. You just fill. I was like, "What?" I was like, "I want my 15 seconds back." Like, what just happened here? Fucking retarded.
Have you ever gone to any sort of HR for a big corporate environment
No.
discussion? Well, just the tone and everything keeps. They were saying, you know, maybe not to the far degree. You got to say something, but the more you talk about it, the more it's gonna be a problem. Racism. If you keep saying this or that, the other, and the tone of these departments are just make people go crazy. Like that has to be revamped.
I watch this TikTok or whatever where it's a guy who reads like texts between bosses and you know what I mean? And it's hilarious when you see like, because the boss is always like a piece of shit, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you here? This time is booked off. Well, you have to come in, blah, blah, blah. And then the person always ends up saying, well, I'm going to go to HR. And then the second they go to HR, you see this like the boss coming back and groveling. You know what I mean?
Escalation.
So apparently the HR works, according to this guy.
Probably for senior management, because when HR is involved, we put your golden parachute together. But for the rest of the underlings that don't make any money, it's anyways. He meant counter disinformation equals censorship.
Yeah, by the way,
That's the new buzz term.
HR is only meant to protect the company. It has nothing to do with human resources or helping. HR was purely set up to.
Sure, but because they're trying to do that, it will often help.
Sure.
The union is there for the worker.
I
Yeah.
get it, but like if the company is trying to shield itself from like
Liability.
sexual harassment,
Yeah.
then they're probably going to do a good job of making rules that stop women from getting harassed. I'm just saying, in turn, you're
yeah.
going to end up getting better shit as long as, you know what, it doesn't matter. I don't even know what I'm fucking talking about.
Women shouldn't be at the workplace. We all agree on
Agreed.
Yeah,
that.
agree.
We
have an agreement.
I want to go there. Look
Like,
up,
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but we can all agree on that.
look up the Aspen Institute disinformation. The Aspen Institute, something bad there. And what we do know.
Wait, I love that you. That was great. Kamar wrote down a note, didn't remember what the note was about, and then was just like,
You guys
I'll leave
should
it up
look
to you
this up."
guys. check into this.
Sounds like
check
this
into
may be
group.
important.
Yeah.
The Aspen group.
Secrets can be kept. Big secrets can be kept. Governments can keep secrets.
I disagree.
Diddy parties.
Not a secret.
There's still secrets to come out of there. I mean,
You know what's going to be the best is one day we're going to get definitive proof that the first moon landing was a hoax, and it's going to make everybody rethink every single goddamn thing they know. People like you who are like, no, they can't keep it a secret, and then they're like, holy
Why?
fuck,
But hold on, stop.
That
No,
secret?
they didn't, because how many people don't? How many people think if it was a consensus, 100% of people agreed they didn't land on the moon? I would agree with you. They kept the secret perfectly. The fact that there are as many people around the world that are like, look at this, look at this, look at this.
No, you're okay. I get all touche. I can see your point. Flat Earth. When we find out that the Earth is
Okay,
flat,
fine, sure,
and they
that'll
kept
give you
that secret the whole time.
Sure, fine.
You're going to really have to eat your words.
That's not going to happen because you have to be on Mars to figure that out.
I just love, I don't know if you remember, but Bill Burr was on like a long time ago, and Bill was talking to Joe about how he's like, I had a cop on my podcast, and I asked the cop, he's like, me and my buddy had planned the perfect crime. And I said to the cop, I was like, me and my buddy planned the perfect crime. And he's like, you're already caught. And he was like, why? He's like, because your buddy. Yeah, you and your buddy. Exactly.
That's amazing.
Is that it, Kumar? We're done? Don't read the last note.
No.
Don't read the last
You
note.
left it till the end.
Don't read the last note.
Let's talk.
Don't
about
read
it.
the last note.
I will fucking storm off this podcast.
I got to go to work.
What time is it?
It's 5. That's
Okay, fine.
I'm not trying to be a dick. We can talk
You
about
did it again,
UFOs.
though.
We can do this.
You do it again. You fucking take that to the start, and we lead with the UFOs.
We can do this. We can do this in the post.
I didn't want to be an asshole, but
Simon,
I
just hear
should
me
have
out.
been an
Simon,
asshole.
just hear me out.
Had to talk about Trump again. Okay, it's fine. We're done. Just good.
No, but just hear me out, just for 1 second. If you want to use Trump as an example, he is currently in the thing. There's new shit about him every day. You guys are like, oh, he did get shot. He didn't get shot. He didn't bring anything new UFO-wise to the table. So it's just Joe regurgitating
right.
opinions.
People's perception and the same thing.
And like nothing, like if there was a new, hear me out. If there's a new video that they had, I'd let you spend 30 minutes. We could dissect it. I wouldn't even be mad. But if nothing's new to the table, I just feel like we're just blowing smoke.
Fine.
And because I have to go to work. That's
Okay,
the only reason.
fine.
I'm sorry.
But I
from-
don't like what you did here.
And from Jelly Roll, who also they brought up the mushrooms are aliens, and that's the alien contact spores.
I always like that. I always like that one a lot.
That ties up that
Panspermia.
that covers every fucking base.
Or just to flip the whole script on that, we are the aliens, and the mushrooms lived here the whole
Oh, it's like I Am Legend.
Yeah.
or Planet of the Apes. It was here. It was Earth
Those
all
damn
along.
dirty apes have
Yeah.
been here all along.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, gang.
Wait, we gotta rate it.
Oh, we do have to rate it. Yeah. I'll give that one.
We got 2.5.
And we never
3.
did a movie game. Just
Yeah, we
I'm
did.
just saying.
no, we didn't.
Oh,
We
that's
just
right.
did a
We
movie.
did the
half a
fake.
movie,
Yeah,
yeah.
we did the. Yeah.
That's what I was scrambling there when I was trying to do it.
Okay. Well, for listeners, because it's Thanksgiving.
Let's do the original Planet of the Apes, and then we'll go.
No, we'll do that in the post show or something. But we do. I'm just sorry. I have to work. For listeners, it's a Saturday. We normally record Sunday. It's Thanksgiving.
That's how much we love you.
Yeah. It's Thanksgiving, so we had to do it on a Saturday afternoon. I have to work, which was unplanned as well. What's wrong?
And
He's raising his hand.
In
Very
20
polite.
years from now,
Very demure.
in some bar in the underworld of the new world, they'll be like, "What episode of the JREE podcast did they not have a movie game?" And this,
Oh,
will
it'll be a
it.
trivia
And then
guy.
the people
yeah.
in the crowd are going to be like, the JREE podcast.
The podcast about a podcast?
Everyone
go
will-
fuck yourself. Yeah.
Everyone will 310 in unison.
310. It's 311, but either way. All right, gang, that's an episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much. There's a Patreon if you want to support the show. Go check it out. Patreon.com/JREE podcast. We'd love it if you joined. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. We still love you. Thank you for listening. If you're Canadian, we hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you're not Canadian, we hope you had a great weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open because you might almost see aliens.